Chapter 80. Hey, how many spirit beasts did we catch this time? A burly bearded man walked out of the tent and asked the two people sitting in the middle of the camp. Leader, we've already caught nearly 20 spirit beasts. 2 of them are even holy beasts that can speak. The 2 men stood up and said. Oh. There are already close to 20 of them? The bearded man said happily, this time we can make a fortune, ha ha ha. Captain, your idea is really good. Those people are going to snatch the treasures, but we're going to stay here and hunt the spirit beasts. Those spirit beasts were all attracted by the treasures, and the ones that passed by were all drugged by the drugs we scattered, causing them to lose their ability to fight. If we sell these spirit beasts to those shops, we'll make a killing this time. The 2 of them excitedly asked their regiment commander for praise. The regiment commander glared at them and said, what do you mean by selling to those shops? Stupid, we're going to sell these to the Beast Tamer Guild. Beast Tamers Guild? Humph, you 2 idiots. I have already discussed this with Master Gu. We will sell the spirit beasts to them and the Beast Tamer Master Guild will tame 5 spirit beasts for free. The full bearded man said. Really? Wow, 5 tamed spirit beasts. The 2 men shouted excitedly. You 2, keep your voices down. If others find out, I'll break your legs. The bearded man scolded. Hee, as long as there is a tamed spirit beast, they can form a contract. It is inevitable that they are excited. A middle-aged man in a green robe came out of the tent and said with a smile. Great Master Mu, why did you come out? The fully bearded man looked at the green-robed man and said. I came out to take a look at these spirit beasts that I just caught. Great Master Mu said. These 2 were just caught. A man brought over the cage containing Little White and the little bird. The fully bearded man looked at Little Roar and Little Bird and furrowed his eyebrows as he said, why did we only catch 2 of these spirit beasts this time? Are they spirit beasts? Captain Hao, don't be angry. Although I've never seen these 2 spirit beasts before. Master Moose suddenly widened his eyes and looked at the little bird in surprise. This is a 4-winged roc. It really is the 4-winged roc. Master Mu came to the side of the cage and looked at the listless bird excitedly. He wanted to reach out and touch it, but he seemed to have some scruples. In the end, he danced around the cage. Great Master Mu, what kind of spirit beast is this 4-winged roc? Seeing Great Master Mu's appearance, Commander Hao and his group members all looked at him in confusion. Cough, cough. Master Mu pretended to be calm and said, I've only seen this 4-winged roc in books, it's just an ordinary spirit beast. Huh? What kind of spirit beast is this rabbit-like thing? Why can't you recognize me? They obviously didn't believe Master Mu's words. He said that he had seen it in a book. How could it be an ordinary spirit beast? However, since he said so, they didn't say anything. However, Commander Hao secretly kept a secret. When the time came to sell this little bird, he would definitely sell it at a high price. Great Master Mu, I don't think it's a spirit beast. It's just a rabbit. One of the team members said. I also think it looks like a rabbit, someone agreed. How could this possibly be a rabbit? Great Master Mu shook his head and said, to be able to travel with the 4-winged roc, it's definitely not an ordinary spirit beast. However, it's currently in a state of camouflage. When I see its true form, I might be able to recognize it. At this time, another 10 people walked over from the forest, laughing and chatting along the way. Commander, look. We've caught another saint beast. A young man carried a cage and walked over. Inside the cage was a first-level saint beast, Black Panther. Commander, the medicine you gave us is really good. This fellow was still very fierce just now. I didn't think that once it smelled the medicine, it would transform into this state, allowing us to capture it. Ha, Great Master Mu, looks like our harvest this time is not bad. Commander Hao said with a big laugh. Seeing that they had caught another saint beast, Great Master Mu's face also smiled like a chrysanthemum, repeatedly saying, not bad, not bad. Commander, we met this brat on the way here. Those people pushed a person over from behind. Sima Yuyue and the rest took a look and saw that the person who was tied up was someone familiar. Qing Wuya, what is he doing here? Fatty Chu said. How Yu Kai, you actually disregarded the agreement between humans and used medicine to kill spirit beasts in large quantities. Qing Wuya glared at Hao Yu Kai and said angrily. Oh, isn't this the young commander of the Green Mountain mercenary group? Aren't you taking on those small missions in Yen City? What are you doing here in the inner regions? Hao Yu Kai obviously knew Qing Wuya, and from his tone of voice, the relationship between the two mercenary groups was not friendly. Damn it, they actually dared to treat spirit beasts like this. When Wei Ziqi heard Qing Wuya's words, he was so angry that he wanted to rush out immediately. However, he was pulled back by Sima Yuyue. They have the advantage in numbers now, and we can't call out our contracted beasts. Just based on the few of us, how can we fight them? Furthermore, those people are much stronger than us. But, Ziqi, don't panic. Yu will definitely think of a way to deal with it. Little Roar is still in their hands. Fatty Chu comforted. Ziqi, why are you so angry? Ouyang Fei looked at Wei Ziqi, his heart filled with suspicion. In the past, this guy seemed so gentle and calm, but now he was actually so angry. That's right, Ziqi, why are you so angry? Sima Yuyue also did not understand. As a beast tamer master, every spirit beast is our friend. Using bewildering drugs to bewitch spirit beasts, this kind of person is the enemy of the entire beast tamer master world. Wei Ziqi said. Since young, he had been instilled with a thought by his family. Spirit beasts were friends, and only people who could resonate with spirit beasts would be able to tame higher-ranked spirit beasts. Furthermore, Wei Ziqi had interacted with spirit beasts since young and was already used to treating spirit beasts as a part of his life. Now that he heard that they had used this method to capture close to 20 spirit beasts, he was extremely angry. Yu, what do we do now? Bei Gong Tang rarely took the initiative to ask. This showed that she was already used to this group. Sima Yuyue looked at Little Roar in the cage and said, they have many people and we are not their opponents now. The most important thing now is to find out what kind of drug they are using. Since it is a type of bewildering drug that is used in the air, the antidote should also be able to spread through the air. As long as we can get rid of the bewildering drug, based on the temperament of those spirit beasts, these people will not be able to gain any benefits. But we are so far away. We also don't know what kind of drug they are using, right? Fatty Chu said. There is. Wei Ziqi said, there is a type of grass called the bitter-smelling grass. This grass can make spirit beasts irritable and increase their blood circulation. It can be said to be the antidote to all bewildering drugs. As long as we can find the bitter-smelling grass, no matter what kind of bewildering drug they are using, it will be effective. But where do we go to find the bitter-smelling grass now? Ouyang Fei frowned. Chapter 81. Yuyue, how did you get sweet-smelling grass? Wei Ziqi asked in astonishment. I collected it when I was bored, Sima Yuyue explained. Now that we have the ambergris, what should we do? Let's burn the ambrosia grass, and the gas it emits will dissipate. At that time, the drug will naturally be neutralized. Wei Ziqi said. Will this work? Fatty Chu asked. Why don't you give it a try? Sima Yuyue said as she lit up the ambergris in her hand. Although the ambrosia grass had the word bitter in its name, it emitted a faint fragrance. The fragrance spread out from her hand and silently drifted towards the camp. Woo woo, the spirit beast seemed to have smelled the fragrance. Because it hadn't been drugged for a long time, the effect of the drug wasn't too strong. After smelling the fragrance of the ambrosia grass, it began to become irritable. What's wrong with this guy? Seeing the holy beast's reaction, Hao Yu Kai said, Muda, there shouldn't be any problem with this, right? It won't. Master Mu said with certainty, weren't there no problems with the previous spirit beasts? Just as he finished speaking, two men hurriedly ran out from a large tent and said anxiously, "Leader, there seems to be something wrong with the spirit beasts inside. It looks like the knockout powder is starting to lose its effect." "How could this be?" "My knockout powder won't lose its effect for at least a month," Master Mu said with certainty. It must be because you guys have done too many bad things, that's why the knockout powder didn't work," Qing Wuya said with a big laugh. "Bullshit." Hao Yukai slapped a palm onto Qing Wuya's face, directly sending him flying onto the ground. "This fellow knows about our matters. Leaving him alive would be a disaster." Master Mu coldly looked at Qing Wuya. "Master Mu is right. Come, let's send young Commander off," Hao Yukai said. "Yes, Commander." The two of them answered and drew their swords to attack Qing Wuya. "Stop." The voice that came out of nowhere caused the two people to pause in their movements. Then, they felt a figure flash in front of them and they were sent flying. Qing Wuya had originally closed his eyes and waited for death, regretting that he had come out alone. But the pain he had expected did not appear. Then, he heard two sounds of people landing on the ground. When he opened his eyes, he saw a cold figure standing in front of him. "Little Sister Beigong?" Qing Wuya shouted in disbelief. "Brother Qing, are you all right?" Sima Yuyue and Ouyang Fei came out from their hiding place and asked Qing Wuya. Qing Wuya shook his head, saying, "I'm fine." "Why are you guys here?" "I was just passing by and saw them trying to kill you," Sima Yuyue said. Initially, when he saw his subordinates being sent flying, he thought that they were from some big clan. Who would have thought that they were just three brats who were still wet behind their ears? "You three are so young, but you actually learned how to meddle in other people's business. You can't blame others for losing your lives like this." Hao Yukai coldly snorted. Their matter had been exposed by Sima Yuyue and the other two, and he was acquainted with Qing Wuya, so he definitely couldn't let them leave today. Another three who came to court death. Great Master Mu frowned, saying, "We can't let others know about our matter. Since they came together, then let's send them on their way." His words were emotionless. In his eyes, these lives were like ants. "If you want to kill us, then we'll have to see if you have the ability to do so," Sima Yuyue said with an evil smile. To deal with the three of you, what ability do we need?" Hao Yukai laughed loudly, saying, "Any two of us here can take care of you." Kai, you guys go." "Yes, Captain." Two burly men walked out from the group, laughing coldly as they walked towards Sima Yuyue and the others. "Brats, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for barging in and finding out about our plan. In this day and age, only dead people's mouths are the tightest. Why are you still talking nonsense with them? Hurry up and go," Hao Yukai urged. Sima Yuyue and Ouyang Fei looked at each other and saw that Amo and Kai were approaching them. Both of them moved at the same time and ran towards them. While they were unprepared, they kicked them away. Ouyang Fei retracted his leg, not letting go of the person he kicked away, but glanced at Sima Yuyue from the corner of his eyes. He had been training his body, so his body was comparable to a swordmaster's. It was not surprising that he could kick a spirit master. What surprised him was that Sima Yuyue had such great strength that she could kick an adult away. It turned out that not only was she agile, but her strength was also shocking. F*CKU. Mo and Kai felt that it was too embarrassing to be kicked away by the two kids in front of their teammates, especially when Great Master Mu was watching. However, they felt that it was because they were careless just now, which allowed the two to take advantage of the situation. Hence, the two of them got up from the ground and rushed towards Sima Yuyue and the others again. "Run!" Sima Yuyue shouted and started running in the campsite. Just as she finished speaking, she realized that Ouyang Fei had already run away. Damn it! Although they had discussed this beforehand, they did not think that Ouyang Fei would move so quickly. The two of them had already surveyed the area, so they did not run far. Instead, they circled around the campsite. Mo and Kai were panting as they chased after them, but they could not catch up. "Chase them quickly, we can't let the two of them escape. Great Master Mu shouted. Quick, chase them quickly. If you let them escape, I'll have your heads. Hao Yukai also threatened. Hence, a few more people joined the group to chase after them. Qing Wuya saw that everyone's attention was on Sima Yuyue and the others, but if they wanted to escape, they would definitely be discovered. He came to Bei Gong Tang's side and said softly, "Younger sister Bei Gong, I'll attract their attention in a while. Take the chance to run quickly. My mission is to protect you, not to run." Bei Gong Tang said faintly, "Just hold on for a while longer." Qing Wuya saw that Bei Gong Tang was not worried at all, and remembered that there were still 2 people missing. He guessed that they had some plans, so he did not rush her to leave. With a few more people chasing after them, Sima Yuyue and Ouyang Fei's skills were not bad, but 2 fists could not fight against 4 hands. Furthermore, there were so many people. The 2 of them were gradually forced together, and the people from the mercenary group formed a circle, surrounding the 2 of them in the middle. "Brat, where are you going to run now?" Mo did not think that they would spend so much time to surround the 2 of them. The 2 of them were like loaches. Every time they wanted to catch them, they would escape. "Run?" Sima Yuyue looked at the people surrounding her and shook her head, saying, "The ones who have to run now are not us, but you guys. You guys are about to meet the King of Hell, and you still dare to threaten us." Roar dash, Kai had not finished speaking when a roar came from the tent. Following that, a series of beastly roars came out, giving everyone a fright. Chapter 82. Chirp, the bird that was locked up with Little Roar also cried out. That cry was too sharp, causing people to cover their ears uncontrollably. "Master Mu, what's wrong with these spirit beasts?" Hao Yukai came to Master Mu's side and asked in a trembling voice. The mercenaries were all frightened by this situation. This is what happens when a spirit beast wakes up. After Master Mu finished speaking, he walked towards the tent where the spirit beast cages were kept. Before he opened the curtain, a group of mimicry spirit beasts ran out. Roar! The spirit beasts roared and returned to their true forms, filling up the entire campsite. "Audacious human, you actually dare to use such a lowly knockout drug to deal with us. Hand over your life." The holy beast that had recovered its strength looked at the mercenaries and roared as it pounced towards them. It was unknown when Sima Yuyue had arrived at the side of Little Roar's cage. She opened the cage and Little Roar pounced towards her. "Woo woo, Yuyu, I thought I would never see you again." Little Roar cried in Sima Yuyue's embrace, but not a single tear could be seen. "Alright, stop pretending." Sima Yuyue grabbed Little Roar's neck and said, "Didn't you say that you were going out to investigate the situation? How did you get caught here?" Ugh, my friend is going crazy. I'm going to cheer him on." Little Roar's eyes darted left and right as he saw that the bird that was with him had returned to its original form. With a slight movement of its body, it broke free from Sima Yuyue's demonic claws and flew onto the bird's back. "Depeng, what do these people dare to catch? Let them have a taste of your power." Little Roar hooted on top of the 4-winged rock. The mercenaries were all in a panic. These spirit beasts were brought back by them after they had knocked them out. Usually, they wouldn't be able to deal with a few spirit beasts, but now there were so many of them. Moreover, all the spirit beasts looked at them with hatred. They couldn't wait to tear them apart. Hao Yukai watched as the spirit beasts came out one by one and transformed into their true forms in front of them. Trembling, he tugged at Great Master Mu's clothes and said, "Great Master Mu, didn't you say that the knockout drug would last for at least 1 or 2 months? Why are they all awake now?" Master Mu was no longer as awe-inspiring as before. Looking at the 2 to 3 meter long spirit beast, he swallowed his saliva. Hearing Hao Yotsai's words, he said, "You ask me, but who should I ask? Leader, it must be those guys." Mo recalled Sima Yuyue's words and pointed at her. "Haha, you've guessed correctly." Wei Ziqi and the rest came out from the tent with the bitter fragrant grass in his hands. Sweet-smelling grass. Great Master Mu immediately recognized the item in Wei Ziqi's hands, the bitter-smelling grass can neutralize all kinds of bewildering drugs. No wonder my bewildering drugs lost their effects. As a beast tamer master from the Beast Tamer Master Guild, you actually disregarded the agreement between humans and spirit beasts and used bewildering drugs to capture spirit beasts. Wei Ziqi berated. Since you know that we are from the Beast Tamer Master Guild, you should also know that this is our Beast Tamer Master Guild's work. Yet you still dare to cause trouble. Hearing Wei Ziqi's words, Great Master Mu replied while sizing him up. He secretly thought that the words he said did not sound like an ordinary person. Beast Tamer Master Guild? I wonder if the people from the Beast Tamer Master Guild would still be willing to be your protective umbrella if they knew of your shady dealings. I'm afraid that Wei Heng would not let you off. Wei Ziqi laughed coldly. Who are you? How do you know Wei Heng? Great Master Mu heard Wei Heng's name and felt guilty. Who in the Beast Tamer Master Guild did not know of the Vice President of the Beast Tamer Master Guild? However, he lived in seclusion and rarely appeared outside, so not many people knew of him. Now that he heard Wei Ziqi mention Wei Heng, he knew that his identity was definitely not ordinary. Wei Heng is my granduncle. I am from the Wei family. Wei Ziqi said proudly. Wei family. Great Master Mu's eyes widened. He had almost killed a member of the Wei family. Ziqi, why are you wasting words with him? Those spirit beasts have more or less recovered. If we don't retreat now, I'm afraid that we will be implicated. Fatty Chu reminded from the side. The spirit beasts that had just woken up from the knockout drug were extremely irritable. Thinking about how they had been secretly imprisoned by the humans, they burned with anger. Now that they could see the people who had harmed them, they could not control their thoughts. Roar dash, the spirit beasts roared at them, then charged towards the mercenary group. Wei Ziqi and the others had already retreated far away, quickly running to an ancient tree far away. You guys actually arrived, but you didn't call us. Fatty Chu saw that Sima Yuyue and the other three were already sitting on a branch of a large tree and complained. We saw that you guys were chatting happily with them and did not want to disturb you. Bei Gong Tang said in a rare humorous tone. You guys did it on purpose. Fatty Chu sat on the branch and complained softly. Those spirit beasts have all become irritable. Why is Little Roar fine? Wei Ziqi looked at Little Roar who was jumping around on the four-winged rock and asked suspiciously. Sima Yuyue shrugged her shoulders and said, I don't know about this either. SSS, these spirit beasts are really ruthless. Everyone followed her gaze and looked over. A black panther had just torn Amo into two halves, and the scene was extremely bloody. The bitter-smelling grass originally caused the spirit beasts to become irritable. Adding on to the fact that they had been tricked by the humans, their hearts were filled with hatred. Naturally, their attacks were not light. Ouyang Fei's expression did not change as he said. Sima Yuyue and Bei Gong Tang did not have much of a reaction to this scene. These people had previously said that they would kill them to silence them, and had even violated the agreement. Now that they had ended up like this, they could only blame themselves. Fatty Chu and Wei Ziqi had never seen such a bloody scene before. Seeing the fresh blood splattered all over the ground, they subconsciously turned their heads. Although the mercenary group had more than 30 people, compared to the 20 spirit beasts, their battle strength was relatively weak. Very quickly, those people were all killed by the spirit beasts. Those lower-ranked spirit beasts began to kill each other after killing the people. Little Roar. Sima Yuyue suddenly called out. Little Roar looked at her and cleared his throat. He suddenly raised his head and roared. Roar dash, it was strange to say that the spirit beasts that had been extremely violent and ready to fight suddenly quietened down. They crawled on the ground, and did not look like they did before. Sima Yuyue jumped down from the tree branch and walked straight towards Little Roar and the others, leaving a few people staring at her with their mouths agape. Brother Sima, what kind of spirit beast is that? Qing Wuya asked blankly. We've never seen its original form. Fatty Chu said. However, even if we saw it, we might not be able to recognize it. To be able to make a group of spirit beasts submit, this is not something that an ordinary spirit beast can do. Wei Ziqi shook his head and said. In any case, it's a very awesome spirit beast. Fatty Chu said with a face full of pride, looking as if Little Roar was his contracted spirit beast. Shameless. Ouyang Fei walked past Fatty Chu and could not help but roll his eyes at him. Sima Yuyue arrived at the campsite from before. The corpses were strewn all over the place. She looked at Little Roar, the four-winged rock below, and realized that its eyes were still scarlet red. Chapter 83. Yeah. Little Roar proudly looked at Sima Yuyue. Compared to the four-winged rock's huge body, it was like comparing a mouse to an elephant. Sima Yuyue looked at Little Roar's proud eyes and said, "Let them all leave." Oh. Little Roar replied, then roared at the spirit beasts. The spirit beasts left one after another, leaving behind only the four-winged rock. It's not going back. Sima Yuyue glanced at the four-winged rock and asked. Little Roar came down from the four-winged rock's back and crawled on top of her head, saying, "Depeng is my friend. He came with me, so of course he won't leave." Sima Yuyue thought of the time when it tricked Yiguang into forming a contract with her. Could it be that the four-winged rock was also tricked by it? Feeling her suspicion towards him, Little Roar said in his heart, "When have I ever tricked others? Both Yiguang and Depeng willingly followed me, okay? Don't think of me as someone who is full of evil tricks like you." Hearing Little Roar saying that she was full of evil tricks, Sima Yuyue pulled Little Roar down from her head. Before she could reprimand him, she saw the four-winged rock transform into its mimicry form and fly towards her. It landed on her shoulder and closed its eyes, falling asleep. Sima Yuyue tossed Little Roar aside when she felt Little Chick fall from her shoulder and reached out to catch Little Chick. You're biased." Little Roar roared. Sima Yuyue rolled her eyes at him, then looked at the bird in her palm and said, "Why did it faint?" Wei Ziqi walked over and said, "Maybe it's because of the drug just now." Qing Wuya cupped his fists towards them and said, "Wuya thanks all of you for saving my life today. If there's anything you need Wuya to do in the future, feel free to ask. Wuya will not hesitate to die 10,000 deaths." Big Brother Qing's words are too serious. Wei Ziqi raised both his hands and said, "However, why is Big Brother Qing still in the Pu Luo mountain range? I'll tell you about this later. Let's leave this place first." Qing Wuya said. These mercenaries had been roaming the Pu Luo mountain range for many years, so they naturally knew that the smell of blood would attract other spirit beasts. The five of them quickly left the campsite. As Qing Wuya walked, he explained why he was here. It turned out that their previous mission was completed within 10 days of entering the mountain. Later on, their mercenary group received a second mission, which was to bring people from a large family to the inner region. Originally, they were also unwilling. After all, the inner region was really too dangerous, but that clan member said that during this period of time, Pu Luo mountain range would be safe, because all the spirit beasts would be attracted by the treasures. In addition to the generous rewards they offered, Qing Wuya's father agreed. However, he only brought along 2 of the stronger members of the group. Qing Wuya, on the other hand, insisted on coming along to take a look at the inner area. After he finished talking about himself, Qing Wuya said, "Why are you guys still in this mountain?" Furthermore, he had even come to the inner region. Although it is relatively safe now, it is not absolute. We only came along to join in the fun. Wei Ziqi said, "Just now, looking at Big Brother Qing's appearance, you seem to know the people from the mercenary group?" "Yeah, that's the Black Bear mercenary group that has been opposing our Green Mountain mercenary group for many years. Although their group leader Hao Kai's strength is not bad, his character is not good. He often leads his group members to steal other people's business and has done many bad things. I never thought that they would actually collude with the Beast Tamer Master Guild to do such a thing." Qing Wuya said. "Do you know that great Master Mu?" Wei Ziqi asked. "I do. He is a Beast Tamer Master from Yen City's Beast Tamer Master Guild. I heard that his character is not that great. Otherwise, he would not be able to do such a thing. I think that he alone would not be able to do such a thing. For him to dare to do such a thing, it must be because the mercenary guild is supporting him from behind, or it could be said that the guild incited him to do so. Wei Ziqi said, "When I return, I will definitely tell this matter to my granduncle." When Qin Wuya heard Wei Ziqi's words, he immediately understood his identity. Before this, he had only guessed that his identity was not ordinary. He never thought that he would actually be someone from a beast tamer master clan. They walked towards the mountain where the golden snake fruit was. After a day, they arrived at the campsite. Qin Wuya invited them to set up camp together, but Sima Yuyue politely rejected him. If they were together with others, it would be inconvenient for them to take action at that time. Qin Wuya was originally very worried about them, but seeing that they were really unwilling, he did not force them. He only told them to look for him directly if they encountered any problems. Sima Yuyue and the others agreed before Qin Wuya left. Seeing that there were many more people and spirit beasts in the mountain valley, Fatty Chu hugged Sima Yuyue's shoulder and said, "Yuyue, there are many people who have come these 2 days." Seeing that the mountain was filled with people and spirit beasts, Sima Yuyue and Bei Gong Tang's eyes were filled with an unknown seriousness. There's still one more day and night before the golden snake fruit ripens. Let's rest nearby first, Sima Yuyue suggested. The few of them found a more secluded spot where they could see the situation below. Because this place was too small, although it was more secluded, no one came to occupy it. While they were waiting for the golden snake fruit to ripen, Sima Yuyue used the excuse of going to the toilet to avoid Wei Ziqi and the others. She looked around and saw that there was no one around. She called Little Roar out and stared at him as she asked, "What's up with this four-winged rock?" "Little Rock?" Little Roar shrunk his neck and said, "I saw that you wanted to snatch the golden snake fruit. This little rock can fly. When you snatch the golden snake fruit, he can fly us away. So you tricked him into coming over?" Sima Yuyue said. "Aya, Yuyu, this spirit beast is willing to follow you. This is a good thing," Little Roar said. "Of course I like spirit beasts. The more the better. But if you tricked him, what if he comes back to his senses and comes to settle the score with us?" Sima Yuyue stretched out a hand and poked Little Roar's head. "This four-winged rock's rank isn't low, right? When he goes berserk, will you be able to defeat him? With Big Brother Crimson Flame here, which spirit beast would dare to act rashly in front of you?" Little Roar muttered softly. "What did you say?" Sima Yuyue grabbed Little Roar and asked. "Nothing much." Little Roar remembered that Crimson Flame told him not to talk about him and hurriedly denied it. He changed the topic and said, "Anyway, Little Rock won't hurt you. You can relax. But my contract is already full. I can't contract him anymore," Sima Yuyue said. "No problem. You can let him stay at Little Spirit's place. When you can contract him, you can keep him," Little Roar said unconcernedly. "Although he is only a 9th level Saint Beast, he has the blood of the ancient Great Rock. Once his blood awakens, he can be considered a pretty good spirit beast." When Sima Yuyue heard Little Roar's words, the corner of her mouth twitched. What did he mean by a 9th level Saint Beast? This was an existence that was just one step away from becoming a divine beast. It was equivalent to the existence of a spirit saint. If it were to fight with Sima Lai, who knows who would win or lose? How did it become a cabbage in his mouth? Chapter 84. You said that the four-winged rock has the bloodline of the ancient Great Rock. What kind of spiritual beast is the ancient Great Rock? Little Roar rolled its eyes at her, looking like a city dweller looking at a country bumpkin. What spirit beast? That's a divine beast. Little Roar said, in the ancient era, it was even more powerful than our divine Roar clan. Don't you humans have a saying, the Great Rock spreads its wings for 90,000 miles? Although this was a bit exaggerated, its speed was not something an ordinary bird-type mythological beast could compare with. Moreover, its fighting strength was also very strong. If Little Rock can awaken his bloodline, then you'll have a pretty good assistant. Sima Yuyue looked at the little bird in her other hand. It was hard to imagine that this little bird was a spiritual beast with the bloodline of an ancient divine beast. And let me tell you, although this little rock doesn't look like much, with my fiery eyes of truth, even if it doesn't awaken its bloodline, it will still be a four-winged rock king when it grows up. As far as I know, the four-winged rocks have not had a king for a long time. Little Roar said mysteriously. Hearing that the little bird that had been sleeping for a day and night actually had such an identity, Sima Yuyue was even more puzzled. How did Little Roar manage to trick such a spiritual beast? Why is it still sleeping? It's probably the effect of the previous hallucinogenic drug. Sima Yuyue recalled the blood-red eyes of the four-winged rock. Perhaps it had something to do with that. Then it will just sleep like this. When the golden snake fruit ripens, it won't be of much help. Sima Yuyue said helplessly. This. It's awake. Little Roar happily said. The four-winged rock was the helper it had specially found. If it continued to sleep like this, wouldn't it have found it for nothing? Therefore, when it sensed that the four-winged rock had awakened, it was extremely happy. The four-winged rock's tightly shut eyes slowly opened. When it saw someone, its hazy gaze instantly became sharp, and all the feathers on its body stood up. After recognizing that it was Sima Yuyue, his body relaxed. You're awake? Sima Yuyue asked. Thank you for saving us, the four-winged rock said as it flapped its wings. Just conveniently. Sima Yuyue said, how are you now? I'm fine. The four-winged rock said, do you want to contract me now? Sima Yuyue did not expect the four-winged rock to be so direct. She shook her head and said, I can't form a contract with you now. My contract quota is already full, so I can't contract any more spirit beasts. Oh. The four-winged rock calmly nodded his head and said, Little Roar said that you have a place where you can cultivate. He said that if you can't form a contract, you can go inside and cultivate. Wait until you can form a contract with me. Sima Yuyue looked at the four-winged rock. Are you really willing to follow me? The four-winged rock nodded. Why? Sima Yuyue was confused. Little Roar's bloodline is even higher than mine. He said that following you would have a bright future. I believe his words. The four-winged rock said seriously. Sima Yuyue was shocked by his reply. It turned out that this guy wasn't following her because of her, but because of Little Roar. With a thought, Little Roar and the four-winged rock were thrown to Little Spirit. This kind of partner made her eyes hurt. Out of sight, out of mind. The scene in front of the four-winged rock changed and he was shocked. Seeing that Little Roar was here, he relaxed. This is Yuyu's territory. You can find any place to cultivate. Little Roar said. Little Spirit appeared in the air and looked at the four-winged rock. This is my world and also Master's place. Since you've come in, you'll be Master's contracted beast. Although you haven't formed a contract yet. Little Roar, Master wants you to bring Little Rock around and take care of him. After he finished speaking, he disappeared, leaving behind the four-winged rock who was still in shock. Little Roar flew over and said, how was it? I didn't lie to you, right? Little Rock nodded his head fiercely and said, it's really too mysterious. There's actually a place like this. The spiritual energy here is much denser than outside. Alright, I'll bring you around now. There are some places that we can't go without permission. Otherwise, you won't be happy. After Little Roar finished speaking, he brought Little Rock to tour around the Spirit Pearl. Sima Yuyue slowly walked back to Wei Ziqi's side. Because the place was too small, they had no way to set up a tent. The four of them sat behind a large rock and chatted. Yuyue, you actually went for so long. Did you empty your stomach? Fatty Chu teased with a smile. Sima Yuyue smiled and did not answer him. Everyone realized that the little bird in her embrace had disappeared and thought that it had woken up and left. Sima Yuyue walked over and sat beside them. This rock was really not bad. It was just big enough to hide the five of them. It was also behind the shrubbery and at the edge of the cliff. The 5 of them sat side by side. If the passers-by did not look carefully, they would not be able to see their figures. Furthermore, if they stuck their heads out, they would be able to see the scene below. There's still one more day before the golden snake fruit ripens. Right now, there are even more spirit beasts below. Today, I saw quite a few higher-ranked spirit beasts. Wei Ziqi said. I've never seen such a scene in my life. Right now, my heart is beating so fast. Fatty Chu patted his chest and said. If your heart doesn't beat, you're done for. Ouyang Fei said. Pfft, they did not think that Ouyang Fei would say something like that. Everyone laughed. Someone's coming. Bei Gong Tang reminded. Everyone quietened down. With the tall shrubbery blocking them, the passers-by outside could not see them. Father, I suspect that younger brother has really been killed by the Sima family. Sima Yuyue heard the person speaking and did not think that it would be someone she was familiar with. Nalan He and Nalan Lan walked in the forest and did not notice the person behind the shrubbery. Lan Chi has only been missing for a period of time. How can you be so sure that he has been killed by the Sima family? Nalan He asked, are you hiding something from me? Nalan Lan bit her lips and a struggle flashed past her eyes. In the end, the worry in her heart took over and she said, Father, on the morning that younger brother went missing, he came to find me and said that the trash from the Sima family had returned home. She said that she wanted to go to the academy early in the morning. He brought some guards with him and said that he wanted to settle the score with her and quietly get rid of her. However, he did not expect that he would never return. He was not found alive and his corpse was not found. Tell me, other than him being killed by the Sima family, what else could it be? Nonsense. Nalan He chided, you were just expelled from the academy. Why are you creating trouble again? Father, I didn't ask younger brother to go. I also advised him at that time, but he didn't listen to me. Nalan Lan said aggrievedly, Father, this isn't the most important thing now. Younger brother has already been missing for more than a month. Should we go to the Sima family and ask? If the Sima family really dares to kill my son, my Nalan family will be irreconcilable with them. Nalan He gritted his teeth and said, wait until we settle the matter of the golden snake fruit. When we go back, we will go to the Sima family. The 2 of them walked far away as they talked. Sima Yuyue and the other 4 finally heaved a long sigh of relief. Sima Yuyue thought about how they said that they would go back and find trouble with the Sima family. She lifted her head and saw that everyone was looking at her. Tell me, is it you? Chapter 85. Sima Yuyue touched her nose and said something that even she did not believe. Cough, cough. I'm such a pure person. Why would I do such a thing? When Little Roar and the others heard Sima Yuyue's words in the spirit pearl, they all rolled their eyes. Wei Ziqi and the rest looked at her as if she was deceiving herself. If they did not know her strength, they would have believed her, but after this trip to the Pu Luo mountain range, they knew that she was not weaker than them, and was even more powerful than them. Her words were not able to convince herself, let alone deceive them. It doesn't matter if you did it or not. Based on what Nalan Lan and the others said, they are going back to find trouble with the Sima family. Fatty Chu said worriedly. He didn't care about the matters between the Sima family and the Nalan family before, but now he treated Sima Yuyue as his brother, so he naturally treated her matters as his own. Last time when you caused Nalan Lan to be expelled, the Nalan clan has been harboring a grudge against you. I heard that in the past few months, they have been suppressing your family. If it wasn't for the fact that General Sima has military power, they would have already taken action. Wei Ziqi said, although that Nalan Chi was somewhat ignorant and incompetent, he was indeed Nalan He's treasure. If they knew that he had been killed by you, I'm sure they would take even more drastic measures. With regards to Wei Ziqi saying that she had killed Nalan Chi, she did not deny it. She had also thought of their worries. Since he said that he's going to cause trouble for Grandpa, we might as well nip the problem in the bud. Hearing Sima Yuyue's calm words, the few of them were shocked. TSK, you just said that you're a pure person, but now you're saying these words so casually. Fatty Chu tore down her stage. Sima Yue glanced at him and said, purity depends on the person. A dragon had a reverse scale. Touching it would make it angry. If anyone dares to touch my family, I, Sima Yue, will not let them off easily. The four of them were moved by Sima Yue's words. Every dragon had a reverse scale, and it was the same for them. Roar. An angry roar came from the opposite valley, startling the people who were waiting for the golden snake fruit to ripen. What happened? I don't know. Why is this divine beast suddenly angry? It seems like someone is approaching the golden snake fruit. It's a spirit beast. Heavens, it's a level 9 holy beast. They're fighting. Sima Yue and the rest stood up and crouched on the rocks to look into the valley. Indeed, they saw two spirit beasts fighting. The battle even affected the nearby spirit beasts, forcing them to retreat quite a distance. That saint beast is really powerful, to actually be able to fight against a divine beast. Fatty Chu clicked his tongue as he watched the battle below. That's because its blood meridians are slightly higher than that spirit beast's. Wei Ziqi said, the blood meridians of spirit beasts can, to a certain extent, eliminate some of the pressure from the ranks. However, whether we can win or not still depends on our own strength. That spirit beast hid its strength. The saint beast is going to lose. Bei Gong Tang said. The others did not know how Bei Gong Tang knew, but not long after she finished speaking, that saint beast was beaten to the ground. It breathed in very little and breathed out very much. That full ape is actually a level 2 divine beast. The surrounding people were all shocked by the spirit beast's final display of strength. At the same time, they were also at a loss. General, I never thought that full ape would actually be a level 2 divine beast. Like this, the difficulty of obtaining the golden snake fruit has greatly increased. A guard behind Sima Lai said. Originally, a level 1 divine beast and a level 2 spirit saint were about the same in strength. With the help of others, it was not impossible for Sima Lai to obtain the golden snake fruit. However, now that this full ape had advanced to a level 2 divine beast, its battle prowess was comparable to a level 4 spirit saint. Calculating it, it was 2 levels higher than him. If he wanted to win against it, the hope became very slim. This golden snake fruit is admittedly very attractive, but this macaque actually advanced in rank. Pass down the order to act according to the situation. Don't fight recklessly. Sima Lai looked at the Nalan family's camp not too far away. Over there, Nalan he was talking with his followers. It seemed that they were also talking about what had just happened. The large rock that Sima Yue and the others were hiding in was not too far away from the Sima family's camp. Hearing Sima Lai's words, her anxious heart finally relaxed. She was afraid that Sima Lai would become muddle-headed over the matter of this treasure and insist on fighting recklessly to obtain the golden snake fruit with the full ape. Now that she knew that he did not think this way, she was relieved. However, she did not think that their coveting of the golden snake fruit would be seen by others as overestimating their own capabilities. Night slowly descended. Tonight's moon was exceptionally bright, like a jade plate hanging high in the sky. The silver splendor sprinkled down on the valley. Perhaps it was because they felt that the golden snake fruit was about to ripen. The spirit beasts in the valley and the people on the mountain did not rest. Everyone was nervously paying attention to the situation of the golden snake fruit. Sima Yue stared fixedly at the golden snake fruit tree. Because she understood it a little more than others, her focus was different. Most people would only see the golden snake fruit absorbing the moonlight. The fruit that had not completely turned golden was slowly ripening. However, she placed her gaze on the golden snake fruit tree. The golden snake fruit tree emitted a faint white light, as if it was draped with a thin layer of silver gauze. Under the cover of the moonlight, if one did not look carefully, they would not be able to see it. Is that the gas that recovers the spirit? Sima Yue saw the full ape sitting beside the golden snake fruit, trying its best to absorb the qi emitted by the golden snake fruit. It seemed that the reason it was able to advance to a second-level divine beast was not unrelated to this gas. In the latter half of the night, when everyone was a little drowsy, Mo Shah suddenly said, "The golden snake fruit is about to ripen." Sima Yuyue kept looking at the golden snake fruit tree and naturally noticed the changes to the golden snake fruit. Those 7 fruits had all turned golden. The fruit emitted a rich fragrance, causing the spirit beasts present to go crazy. Those spirit beasts all rushed towards the cliff, wanting to pick the fruit. However, they discovered that the fruit was wrapped in a white light, isolating everyone from touching it. "Just a little bit more," Mo Shah said. "The golden snake fruit has ripened. Everyone, quickly go and pick it." It was unknown who shouted from the top of the mountain, but the crowd was immediately captivated by the golden snake fruit. They did not care about the group of spirit beasts below and directly flew towards the golden snake fruit. When a spirit master reached the level of a spirit king, they would be able to fly in the air. It seemed that these people were all experts of the spirit king level and above. Those spirit masters directly flew towards the cliff, but they were sent flying by the wind created by the full ape's punch. Those people landed on the ground and were immediately surrounded by the spirit beasts. Sima Yuyue saw that Sima Lai was also flying towards the full ape. She took out a bottle of medicinal powder and placed it in Bei Gong Tang's hands, saying, "I'll go and snatch the golden snake fruit. Help me scatter this thing on the Nalan clan members. If I can snatch the golden snake fruit, I'll definitely give you a share." Chapter 86. Bei Gong Tang looked at Sima Yuyue and said, "You want to go by yourself? You've seen the situation below. If we all go down, I'm afraid we won't even be enough to fill the gaps between the teeth of these people and beasts." Sima Yuyue said, "I have a way to sneak in, but I can't bring all of you along. Ziqi, Ouyang, Fatty, the 3 of you have to be her protectors. Scatter this powder on the Nalan family members and immediately retreat. We'll meet in Yen City 2 days later. How can we let you go alone?" Bei Gong Tang did not accept the medicine bottle. "I haven't finished my business yet. I won't joke around with my life." Sima Yuyue stuffed the bottle into Bei Gong Tang's hands and said, "Trust me, I'll bring the golden snake fruit back for you." After saying that, she quickly dashed out of the bushes and ran down the mountain. "Let's go too," Ouyang Fei said. "She's not a boastful person. Since she said that she has a way, it should be true. If we go, we might even drag her down." Wei Ziqi and Fatty Chu did not refute Ouyang Fei's words because what he said was the truth. They had always felt that they were the best among their peers. They had never thought that they would one day become a burden to others. Bei Gong Tang watched as Sima Yuyue ran down the mountain and disappeared into the midst of the spirit beasts. She could not help but worry. How long had it been since he last felt worried about others? Clenching the medicine bottle in his hand, he put away his worries and said, "You guys wait for me here. I'll go and spread this on the Nalan family." She was about to leave when Ouyang Fei stopped her. "Let's go together." Bei Gong Tang looked at Ouyang Fei's resolute gaze and nodded. "We don't need to scatter this on Nalan He. There are definitely still people in the Nalan clan's camp. Let's scatter it in their tents and leave." Wei Ziqi said, "It's too chaotic here. It's better to leave early." "Yes, let's go." "Wait." Fatty Chu stopped everyone, took out 4 masks from his spatial ring and handed them to everyone, saying, "In order to not be discovered, we should wear these." "Fatty, how did you get a mask?" Wei Ziqi asked. "Yuyue gave it to me." Fatty Chu put on his mask and walked out first. Ouyang Fei and the other 2 were speechless as they looked at the mask in their hands. Had Sima Yuyue prepared the mask beforehand to do something bad? "Let's go too." The 3 of them put on their masks and followed Fatty Chu towards the Nalan family's tent. Because they didn't know how many people were in the camp, Bei Gong Tang and the others scattered the powder into the tent and left. They didn't see who was in the tent. Nalan Lan stood outside the tent and looked at the scene below for a while. She was so scared that her face was as white as paper. She staggered back into the tent. With lingering fear in her heart, she did not notice that there was a faint fragrance in the tent. After Wei Ziqi and the other three succeeded, they began to run towards the other side of the mountain. Not long after, they saw Yiguang waiting for them in front. "Master told me to bring you all out." Yiguang revealed his true form and said to Wei Ziqi and the others. Right now, the inner regions were a little chaotic. If they met a crazy spirit beast, Yiguang's battle strength as a holy beast would be slightly stronger. Wei Ziqi and the others didn't hesitate and directly climbed onto Yiguang's back, letting him carry them as they ran towards the outer regions. Bei Gongtang sat at the very back. She turned around and looked at the valley that was lit up by the battle, her gaze slightly restrained. When Sima Yue came out from the large rock, she took out a mask and put it on before running down the mountain. The moment she entered the herd of spirit beasts, the aura on her body suddenly changed. It was as if her entire aura had disappeared into thin air. Even when she walked past those people and spirit beasts, they didn't notice her at all. As a result, she quickly passed through the herd of spirit beasts and arrived at the bottom of the cliff. With a leap, she flew to the side of the golden snake fruit tree. "Wow, I never thought that I would be able to experience the feeling of flying with you." Sima Yue sighed to Mo Sha after landing. Mo Sha didn't reply to her and said, "When you come into contact with the golden snake fruit, the power I placed on your body will disappear. At that time, you can only rely on yourself to obtain the golden snake fruit. Furthermore, you have to be quick. If the people and spirit beasts below find out, you don't need me to tell you the consequences." "I understand." Sima Yue nodded. There were so many spirit beasts and human experts below. If they took the opportunity to attack her while she was digging up the golden snake fruit tree, even if she didn't die, she would still walk to the gates of hell. "If you're ready, I'll withdraw my power." After Mo Sha finished speaking, Sima Yue felt that the power that had just entered her body had disappeared. That light feeling had also disappeared. She took out the small shovel that she usually used to remove weeds in her spirit pearl and squatted under the golden snake fruit tree, carefully digging. This golden snake fruit tree was only 50 centimeters tall, but the roots below were not small. In order to reduce the damage to the golden snake fruit tree, she tried her best to dig up all the roots. Just as she was about to succeed, an angry roar came from the sky. Roar dash, the full ape that was fighting with Sima Lai felt that someone was moving the golden snake fruit. It, who had the advantage, gave up on chasing Sima Lai and turned around to attack Sima Yue. Sima Lai and the full ape fought a few rounds and wanted to retreat. However, the full ape didn't give him the chance to escape. Now that he saw the full ape leave, Sima Lai took the opportunity to fly to a nearby mountain peak. He wanted to see who exactly could avoid the eyes of so many people and spirit beasts and come to the side of the golden snake fruit tree. The others also noticed the situation on the cliff and looked towards the golden snake fruit tree one after another. They saw a person wearing a mask and a large cloak squatting there and digging up the golden snake fruit. Who is that? Everyone couldn't remember that such a person had appeared in the past few days. Even if they tried to identify her carefully, they couldn't recognize her identity. Sima Yue felt the full ape attacking her. Seeing that there was still a bit of roots in the soil, she steeled her heart and pulled up the golden snake fruit tree, throwing it into her spirit pearl. In the instant that the golden snake fruit tree disappeared, Mo Sha's power once again entered her body. Before she could prepare herself, the full ape ran over and she could only receive its punch. Sima Yue was sent flying by the full ape's punch. She spat out a mouthful of blood and finally flipped in the air. It was only then that everyone could clearly see her figure. That figure was slightly frail, but it couldn't hide the aura that was emitted from her body. Spirit paragon? Sima Lai said uncertainly. Patriarch, when did a spirit paragon appear in the Yilin continent? No, that's not a spirit paragon. Her aura is very weak. Obviously, that's not her true strength. Audacious human, you actually dare to steal my golden snake fruit. The full ape saw that even the golden snake fruit tree had been dug up and was extremely angry. Furthermore, she didn't die after receiving its punch, which made it even angrier. It leapt up and its huge fist once again flew towards Sima Yuyue. Chapter 87. Mo Sha could feel the violent energy contained within the astral wind. He took Sima Yuyue and retreated tens of meters in the air to avoid the full ape's explosive punch. Hey, didn't you say you were very powerful? How come you can't even beat a monkey now? Sima Yuyue asked as she saw Mo Sha dodging with her. My soul is unstable right now, so I can't use my full strength. Mo Sha said, furthermore, I wasn't prepared to receive that palm just now. I took it head on and suffered some injuries. Alright, since we can't beat them, let's run away first. If other people also want to snatch it, we will be in trouble. After saying that, Sima Yuyue called Little Rock out from the spirit pearl. Seeing that Little Rock had appeared in his original form, Sima Yuyue jumped onto his back. Little monkey, I'm not going to play with you today. Sima Yuyue looked at the full ape condescendingly. Seeing its irritation, anger, and unwillingness, she suddenly couldn't bear it. It seemed a little too much to uproot a treasure that it had guarded for hundreds and thousands of years. Her mind raced for a few seconds before she took out a golden snake fruit and threw it at the full ape, saying, Little monkey, you've been guarding it for so long, I'll share some with you too. The full ape caught the golden snake fruit that Sima Yuyue threw over. After confirming that there was no mistake, he raised his head and saw that she had already taken the opportunity to leave on Little Rock. He was a little confused. It originally thought that it wouldn't be able to get the golden snake fruit back today, but it didn't expect that this person would actually give it one. This made it rather surprised. However, it only needed one golden snake fruit, because it didn't want to rely on this to increase its strength, but it wanted this to stimulate the awakening of the bloodline in its body. Fortunately, this human did not snatch away all of the golden snake fruits, leaving it with hope. Otherwise, even if it had to risk self-destructing, it would have dragged her down with it. Thinking of this, the naive full ape felt grateful to Sima Yuyue. If she knew about this, she might scold him for being a fool. After eating the golden snake fruit, the full ape flew in another direction, leaving behind a valley full of spirit beasts and humans. Before anyone could react, the two parties who were fighting over the golden snake fruit had already left. There was no longer the aura of the golden snake fruit in the valley. Those spirit beasts slowly regained their senses, and some of the higher-ranked ones were the first to leave. Patriarch, the golden snake fruit is gone just like that? The Nalan clan's guards came to Nalan. He sighed. They still felt that they were in a dream. Just now, he was still fighting with others for the golden snake fruit, and in the blink of an eye, this thing was gone. What else could it be? Even if that person isn't a spiritual elder, he's at least a high-level spiritual emperor. Otherwise, how could he use a secret technique to raise his strength to a spiritual elder? Such a person even has a flying spirit beast by his side. Are you going to snatch it from him? Nalan, he thought about how he had come here for nothing. His heart was filled with anger, and he vented his anger on the guard. This subordinate doesn't dare. The guard hurriedly cupped his fists and said, Go back and pack up. Let's leave this valley first. Nalan, he instructed. Yes, Patriarch. The Nalan clan's people quickly left, and the others also left the mountain one after another. Although it wasn't safe to travel at night, if they stayed here, the spirit beasts below might go crazy and attack them. That would be troublesome. There were two people who didn't move. One was Sima Lai, and the other was Qing Wuya. Sima Lai stood on the mountain top, looking in the direction that Sima Yuyue left. He felt that the figure was somewhat familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen it before. After thinking for a long time, he still didn't think that it was the granddaughter that he had brought up since she was young. Qing Wuya, on the other hand, recognized Sima Yuyue. When he first saw the four-winged rock, he thought that it was just a coincidence. The person who had snatched the golden snake fruit just so happened to have a four-winged rock. However, when he recognized that the little white dot sitting on the four-winged rock's head was Little Roar, he was certain that the person was Sima Yue. However, he didn't plan to tell anyone about this matter. It could be considered as a way to repay Sima Yue for saving his life. Hearing his father's call, he turned around and left with them. Sima Lai had also originally seen Little Roar, but because he had never seen the four-winged rock before, he thought that it was the white feather on the four-winged rock's forehead. Thus, he missed the chance to recognize Sima Yue. "General, that person, we can't beat him now." The guard came behind Sima Lai and saw that he was looking in the direction that Sima Yue had left. He thought that he was still unresigned. "I know." Sima Lai said, "Let everyone pack up and leave." "Yes, General." Very quickly, the noisy mountain valley quieted down. Only the corpses of the spirit beasts that had died in the chaotic battle were left lying there. It wasn't that those who had left didn't have any ideas about these corpses, but those spirit beasts had always hated humans taking away corpses. Even if it wasn't their own kind, they wouldn't allow it under these circumstances. Now that there were many spirit beasts, although those people had some ideas, they still left in the end. Sima Yue sat on Little Rock and flew towards the outside. She sat on his back and looked down. Under the moonlight, the scenery of Pu Luo mountain range was not bad. After leaving the mountain valley, Mo Sha retracted his power and said, "I'm going back. My soul has always been unstable. Now that I'm injured, I won't be able to lend you any power in the near future." Hearing Mo Sha's weak voice, Sima Yue asked worriedly, "How are you? Is it very serious?" "It's nothing. I'll be fine after absorbing the gas released by the golden snake fruit." Mo Sha said, "The next time I come out, this situation won't happen again." "Then do you want to eat a golden snake fruit?" Sima Yue asked. "No need, I can't eat it either. My current soul can't withstand the violent energy from the golden snake fruit." Mo Sha said, "If you want me to recover faster, it's not like there's no way." "What way?" "Concoct pills." Mo Sha said, "As long as you can concoct pills that are beneficial to the soul, I'll be able to recover faster." "How can I concoct dark pills?" Sima Yue was originally excited when she heard that there was a way, but now that she heard him mention dark pills, she said discouragingly, "Did you forget about your physique?" Mo Sha said. "Light devil physique?" Sima Yue didn't understand. What did this have to do with concocting dark pills? People with a devil physique can absorb dark spiritual energy. As long as you have dark spiritual energy, you can inject it when you're congealing the pill and it'll become a dark pill. Mo Sha said. I can even absorb dark spiritual energy?" Sima Yue said in shock, "Then what level of pill would be useful to you?" "At least 6th level." Mo Sha said, "You can only concoct 1st level pills now. If you want to concoct pills that will be useful to me, it's still too early." Sima Yue rubbed her nose and said, "Back then, you were willing to come out and teach me how to concoct pills with this goal in mind, right?" She knew it. Back then, when he felt that she had a light devil physique, why would he be willing to expose their contractual relationship? He even enthusiastically taught her how to concoct pills. So it was because he wanted her to concoct dark pills that would be useful to him in the future. Chapter 88. Mo Sha didn't deny it, because he was initially willing to teach her alchemy with this goal in mind. "I'm going back. The news that the person who snatched the golden snake fruit has a four-winged rock will definitely spread very quickly. You'd better put it away and go out by yourself. In any case, with your current strength, no one will suspect you." After Mo Sha finished speaking, he entered the spirit pearl and arrived beside the golden snake fruit. Little Spirit had already planted the golden snake fruit in a large flower pot. Although it seemed that the golden snake fruit had just experienced a change of location, it did not suffer any harm. "I specially planted this in a pot." Little Spirit appeared beside Mo Sha and said, "This needs to absorb moonlight at night to transform into her own energy. This way, it'll be more convenient for her to take it out in the future." Your consideration is not bad." Mo Sha nodded. His soul floated to the side of the golden snake fruit tree and sat down. He closed his eyes and began to meditate. Seeing this, little spirit disappeared without a sound, just like how he had appeared without a sound. After Mo Sha left, Sima Yuyue asked Little Rock to choose a place to land before keeping him into her spirit pearl. Mo Sha was right. The news of her leaving on the four-winged rock might have already spread back to Yen City. If she were to return on it, she was afraid that it would attract unnecessary trouble. If she removed her disguise, a spirit master wouldn't attract any attention. Since she was already in the middle region, there wasn't much danger for her. Hugging Little Roar in her arms, she chose a towering tree and climbed up the branches in a few moments. She chose a thicker branch and laid down to sleep for the night. When the first ray of light shone on her face, she woke up. With a single leap, she landed on the ground and dusted off her hands. After letting Little Roar determine the direction of the outer perimeter, she hurried on her way. After walking for half a day, she met some people who were also leaving. Although they did not connect her with the person from last night, they were still surprised that she was walking alone in the central region. Sima Yuyue ignored their stares. She was not interested in them and was too lazy to strike up a conversation with them. While they were on their way, she contacted Yiguang and found out that they weren't too far away. She planned to leave together with them. Little Roar had been lying on Sima Yuyue's shoulder the entire time and did not walk on his own. However, after chatting with it, Sima Yuyue also felt that the journey was not too far. "Master, save me." Sima Yuyue was joking with Little Roar when she suddenly heard Yiguang's cry for help. "Yiguang, what's wrong?" Sima Yuyue asked anxiously. "Master, come quickly. We can't hold on any longer. Come quickly." Sima Yuyue was shocked by Yiguang's sudden silence. Hearing the sounds of fighting in front, Sima Yuyue glanced over and happened to see Bei Gong Tang being sent flying by the snake's tail. She panicked and said, "You'll know what I want in a moment. Are you still thinking of saving them?" That boss looked at Sima Yuyue. "Initially, we only wanted to kill you secretly. Since you found out, then we can only send you directly to hell. Then we'll see if you have the ability to do so." Sima Yuyue walked around them after she finished speaking and ran towards the empty space in front. Those people wanted to attack her, but they found that they couldn't move at some point in time. Bei Gong Tang was hit by the snake's tail and flew out heavily, landing on the ground and kicking up a lot of dust. Pfft! There was a fishy taste in her throat and she spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood that she spat out on the ground was still mixed with bits and pieces. "Bei Gong, leave quickly. Don't bother about us anymore." Wei Ziqi lay on the ground and shouted at Bei Gong Tang. Bei Gong Tang wanted to crawl up from the ground, but failed twice. She supported herself with one hand on the ground and the other on her chest. Her face was pale as she looked at the snake in front of her and said weakly, "Since you guys said that we were a team, then I can't leave you guys behind. What a stubborn girl. It's a pity that I don't like people like you." That snake swung its tail and looked at Bei Gong Tang. "I didn't think that you would be able to pester me for so long. Now, I'll send you to hell. Don't worry. You won't feel the pain of death when I hit you with my tail." After it finished speaking, it raised its tail high and was about to land on Bei Gong Tang's body. Chapter 89. Bei Gong, run. Wei Ziqi and the other two saw the scene in front of them and their eyes turned red as they anxiously shouted. Bei Gong Tang helplessly looked at the huge tail that was falling towards her. She had already experienced how powerful it was just now. If she was hit by it again, she would really have to meet the King of Hell. But she couldn't move. Her leg had just been broken, and now it was difficult for her to move. She had no choice but to close her eyes and wait for the final verdict. "Meng Ji, I'm sorry. I can't wait for you to wake up. Mother, little brother, I'm sorry. I can't keep my promise and go back to see you." However, the expected pain did not come. Instead, he heard a clanging sound, followed by the sound of the snake's tail hitting the ground. Yue. A surprised voice entered Bei Gong Tang's ears. She opened her eyes and saw Sima Yue's resolute back. The weapon in her hand was actually a frying pan. Sima Yue turned to look at her and said, "Bei Gong, I'm here." If it wasn't for the fact that the weapon in her hand was too comical, Bei Gong Tang would definitely feel that Sima Yue was very cool at this moment. Unfortunately, that comical weapon really ruined her image. Sima Yue saw that Bei Gong Tang's gaze had landed on the frying pan in her hand. She smiled and said, "It was an emergency, so I had to make do with it." Towards the frying pan in her hand, she was also speechless. When she came over, she saw that the snake was about to hit Bei Gong Tang's body. She didn't have time to think and immediately summoned Ling Long. However, she didn't expect that Ling Long was coincidentally transforming into a frying pan and was taken out by her. She had never used a frying pan to save a person before, and she had never done it again. Ling Long was extremely resentful towards Sima Yue's disdain. Her image had been ruined by her. Only when everyone woke up from their stupor did they realize what was going on. "Yue, leave quickly. This is the snake's territory. As long as you smell its scent, all men will lose their strength." Bei Gong Tang shouted anxiously. Sima Yue glanced at the snake that was writhing on the ground in pain after being hit by her 7 inches. The injured Bei Gong Tang, Wei Ziqi, Ye Guang, and the others who were not injured, but were lying limp on the ground. Sima Yue finally understood why they were defeated by this snake that had just become a saint beast. Sima Yue bent down and carried Bei Gong Tang, carrying her to Wei Ziqi and the others. She took out a bottle of pills and handed it to her, saying, "Can you still eat pills by yourself?" Bei Gong Tang nodded and grabbed her hand, saying, "Yue, you're not a girl. You'll be poisoned soon. Take advantage of the fact that the snake hasn't come yet and leave quickly." "That's right, Yue, hurry and leave." Fatty Chu was paralyzed on Yiguang's body as he looked at Sima Yue and said. Although Wei Ziqi and Ouyang Fei did not say anything, the way they looked at her had already expressed their intentions clearly. "Ah! Damned human, I'm going to kill you." The snake regained its strength and stuck out its tongue at Sima Yue. The 7 inches of the snake's body was the weakest part. After being hit by her ruthlessly, it took a while for it to regain its strength. "Yue." Bei Gong Tang pushed Sima Yue, urging her to leave quickly. Sima Yue patted her hand, saying, "Don't worry, those things are useless to me." After she finished speaking, she picked up the frying pan that she had lost and stood up. She stood in front of the few people and faced the snake. "I never knew that there was a snake like you. Male animals can't do anything to you, allowing you to live until now. This young master wants to drink snake soup today. Why don't you contribute to it?" In response to Sima Yue's provocation, the snake laughed coldly, saying, "What an arrogant brat. You've already been here for so long and will soon lose your strength like the other males. You're still so arrogant even now." Sima Yue held the frying pan in her hand tightly, saying, "I already said that your things are useless to me. If not, why haven't I lost my strength until now?" "Impossible." The snake was very confident in its own abilities. Seeing that Sima Yue was not paralyzed, it was a little doubtful. "What's impossible about it?" Sima Yue laughed. "When did I say that I was a man?" After she finished speaking, she took advantage of He Huan's daze and rushed over. The sacred beast was not something that she could deal with alone. She had to take advantage of its unprepared state and attack its 7 inches. Only then would she have a chance of winning. The snake reacted quickly and swung its tail, attacking Sima Yue. Sima Yue dodged to the left and skillfully avoided the attack. She even took the opportunity to take a few steps forward, shortening the distance between her and the snake. Fatty Chu and the rest were also stunned by Sima Yue's last sentence. They stared blankly at her fighting the snake, their minds still echoing with her words. "When did I say that I'm a man? If she wasn't a man, could she be a woman?" The 4 of them did not believe it. However, she was not hurt by the snake's fragrance and still had the strength to fight it. She was up and down, jumping left and right. It was obvious that she was still very energetic. Thus, everyone quickly accepted this shocking fact: Sima Yuyue was actually a woman. Level 5 Spiritual Master. Before the shock from the previous wave of shock had subsided, Sima Yuyue used her spiritual energy to let them know her true abilities. Once again, she gave them a huge shock. Am I seeing things? Fatty Chu wanted to stretch out his hand to rub his eyes, but found that he could not move. He could only use all his strength to blink his eyes, trying to see if he was seeing things. I really did not expect that Yoyue's abilities had already reached the level of a level 5 spiritual master. Wei Ziqi sighed. A level 5 spiritual master against a sacred beast. Ouyang Fei did not finish his sentence, but everyone understood what he meant. Spiritual knights, spiritual masters, and great spiritual masters could fight against low-grade spiritual beasts. High-grade great spiritual masters, spiritual kings, and spiritual overlords could fight against sacred beasts. Now that this snake was already a level 1 sacred beast, only a great spiritual master could fight against it. And Sima Yuyue was only a level 5 spiritual master. If she wanted to defeat a sacred beast, the result was obvious. I believe that Yuyue is not an impulsive person. Since she can stand up, there shouldn't be a problem. Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yuyue's back with a resolute gaze. He did not know when it started, but he had a lot of trust in her. I believe in her too. Bei Gong Tang said. After eating the pill that Sima Yuyue gave her, the pain in her chest had subsided quite a bit, and her voice was not as weak as before. Yuyue has given us quite a shock today. However, it is almost impossible for a spiritual master to defeat a sacred beast. Wei Ziqi said. Who knows, she might be able to create a miracle. Bei Gong Tang looked straight at Sima Yuyue. She believed that Sima Yuyue was not speaking without thinking. When she was talking to her just now, she saw Yuyue's confident gaze. That gaze made her believe that she would definitely create a miracle today. Ouyang Fei looked at Sima Yuyue. He also wanted to believe that she could defeat that snake, but the difference in their levels was too big. Could she really create a miracle? Chapter 90. Sima Yuyue did not know what the people behind her were thinking. However, she did not have the time to think about other things. She had to focus on dealing with the snake in front of her. Now that Yiguang and Little Roar could not help her, she could only rely on herself to deal with the snake. However, it was just as the others thought. Normally, only a high-level Great Spirit Master could contend against a sacred beast. She was an entire level away from it. If she wanted to deal with it, she had to find another method. The only thing she could rely on now was speed. In her previous life, she deeply understood the principle that only speed could not be defeated in the world of martial arts. Therefore, when she came to this world, when she was training her body, she was also thinking of ways to recover her previous skills. When the snake saw that Sima Yuyue was more agile than its tail, it got even angrier. It swung its tail even faster, forcing Sima Yuyue to increase her speed. Several times, she was hit by the snake's tail and fell heavily to the ground. There was a burning sensation on her back. When she moved her left hand, she felt a piercing pain. Based on her experience in her previous life, she knew that she had at least 2 broken ribs. We can't let this drag on. We have to end this quickly. Sima Yuyue could feel the strength in her body depleting rapidly. She was running out of spiritual energy as well. If this continued, she would definitely lose. Therefore, when the snake came at her again, she didn't choose to dodge. Instead, she moved her body slightly to the side. Taking advantage of the time when the snake retreated, she hugged it and smashed it with the frying pan. When Bei Gong Tang and the others saw that Sima Yuyue was actually hugging the snake, they were still worried about her. When they saw that she was actually waving the frying pan and hitting the snake non-stop, they didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If it wasn't for the fact that the situation wasn't right now, they would have laughed out loud. If they could survive today, this scene would definitely become a memory they would remember for the rest of their lives. Although Sima Yuyue had turned into a frying pan, its power was definitely not something an ordinary frying pan could compare to. Even if a spirit beast had thick and tough skin, its flesh would still be torn apart by Sima Yuyue. Roar! Despicable humans! The snake waved its tail in pain. Sima Yuyue hugged the snake's tail and clamped her legs tightly around the snake's body to prevent herself from being thrown off. Die! The snake raised its tail and prepared to throw Sima Yuyue to the ground. Sima Yuyue saw that her position was just right and let go of the snake's tail. Landing on the snake 7 inches away, she tilted her body and blocked the line of sight of Wei Ziqi and the others. The dagger in her hand turned into a dagger and fiercely pierced into the snake's body. Ah! With its lifeline injured, the snake's body bent like a bow. Sima Yuyue clamped the snake between her legs, held the dagger with both hands, and stabbed the rest of the dagger into the snake's body. Then, she pulled the dagger down forcefully, and a wound that was tens of centimeters long appeared on the snake's back. The snake was dancing on the ground. Sima Yuyue, who had used up all her strength, was thrown out violently. She fell to the ground and stopped moving. Yuyue! Yuyue! Bei Gong Tang and the others were stunned by the sudden turn of events. When they saw Sima Yuyue lying motionless on the ground, they shouted anxiously. Hiss, AOO, the snake was still dancing on the ground, but its movements were gradually decreasing. Finally, it laid on the ground and stopped moving. Yuyue, are you alright? Bei Gong Tang looked at the motionless figure on the ground and her eyes turned red for the first time since they met. But no matter how much they called out, Sima Yuyue did not respond at all. Yuyue, Yuyue, respond! Fatty Chu cried as he looked at Sima Yuyue. He could not wait to run over. No way, Yuyue would not die like this. Wei Ziqi shook his head and muttered. Why are you panicking? Ye Guang is still breathing. This means that Yuyue is still alive. At the crucial moment, Ouyang Fei still had a trace of rationality. Seeing Ye Guang under Fatty Chu, he reminded them. Is she okay? Fatty Chu looked coldly at Ouyang Fei. Feeling the breathing under his body, his heart finally calmed down. Fighting with a holy beast-ranked snake and seeing her on the ground, it was no wonder that everyone thought she was dead. Cough cough, after a while, a light cough was heard. To the 4 of them, it was like the sound of nature. Yuyue! Yuyue, how are you? Sima Yuyue moved her body. Her whole body was in pain. With a thought, a pill appeared in her hand. She swallowed the pill with much difficulty before turning her head to face Wei Ziqi and the rest. I'm fine. Seeing Sima Yuyue's tired but bright eyes, the 4 of them finally relaxed. As long as she was alive, she would be fine. After resting for more than an hour, Wei Ziqi and the rest felt their strength returning. Ouyang Fei was the first to regain consciousness. He slowly struggled to get up and walked shakily to Sima Yuyue's side, reaching out to hug Sima Yuyue. SSSSS, Sima Yuyue's body moved and she gasped in pain. Where are you in pain? Ouyang Fei saw that Sima Yuyue was in pain and did not dare to move. He hugged Sima Yuyue and sat on the ground. Cough cough, I don't think many of my ribs are in good condition. The other parts of my body are also injured quite badly. Sima Yuyue said. Ouyang Fei supported Sima Yuyue with one hand. With a thought, a pill appeared in his hand. 4th ranked pill? Sima Yuyue looked at the pill in Ouyang Fei's hand and was extremely shocked. How did he have such a precious pill? Ouyang Fei did not say anything and directly fed the pill to Sima Yuyue, not allowing her to reject. Wei Ziqi and the rest had also regained their strength. He came to Bei Gong Tang's side and asked, How are you? I'm fine. It's just that my leg is broken and I can't walk. Bei Gong Tang said. Wei Ziqi pulled open Bei Gong Tang's pants and saw that her leg was swollen. I'll find a rod to tie it up for you. Fatty Chu said as he crawled up. Fatty, wait a moment. Sima Yue leaned into Ouyang Fei's embrace and said, let's leave this place first. It'll be troublesome if we attract other spirit beasts. Right, let's leave this place first. Wei Ziqi said, Bei Gong, I'll carry you. I'll bandage you later. Bei Gong Tang nodded. At this moment, she did not care about the difference between men and women. Sima Yue called Yaguang back and called Little Roar out to make him bigger. Yu, how did you get hurt so badly? Little Roar saw the injuries on Sima Yue's body and said with a sobbing tone, it's all Little Roar's fault. He dropped the ball at the most crucial moment. I don't blame you. Become a little bigger. You have to be big enough for 10 people. Sit. Sima Yue said as she shook her head. Okay. Little Roar's body shook and became even bigger. It was not a problem for 10 people to lie on top of him. Yue, why do you need space for 10 people? Fatty Chu did not understand. Sima Yue looked into the distance and her eyes flashed coldly, because we need to bring a few enemies with us. Chapter 91. The person who lured us here? Fatty Chu asked. Yes. They have already been drugged by me and are lying there. Sima Yue said. Yue, not only did you appear to save us, you even captured those people. I really admire you. Fatty Chu said. Let's go. We'll bring those people along and leave this place. Ouyang Fei carried Sima Yue onto Little Roar's back and said to Fatty Chu who was still below. Yes. Fatty Chu turned around and ran towards where the few of them were. Indeed, he saw the few of them lying on the ground. He took out a rope and tied them all up before throwing them onto Little Roar's back. After waiting for Fatty Chu to sit down, Little Roar brought everyone out of the place. An hour later, Little Roar found a cave and brought Sima Yue and the rest in. This place is not bad. Let's recuperate here. Sima Yue looked around and said. Fatty Chu was the first to jump down. He grabbed the 5 people, one in each hand, and casually threw them to the ground. After that, he cooperated with Wei Ziqi and Ouyang Fei to help Bei Gong Tang and Sima Yue down. Sima Yue took out her own big bed as a place for her and Bei Gong Tang to recuperate. Wei Ziqi and Ouyang Fei carried the 2 of them onto the bed. Ziqi, I can't move right now. Let me talk to you. Help Bei Gong connect his bones first. Sima Yue said. Yue, you know how to set bones? Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yue in astonishment. Based on my previous experience, Sima Yue said, and 2 wooden boards appeared in her hands. Fix it with this after you're done. You tell me, I'll do it. Wei Ziqi took the wooden board and said. After that, Sima Yue instructed Wei Ziqi to fix Bei Gong Tang's leg. After that, she asked them to go out and take off their clothes so that Bei Gong Tang could fix her bones. Outside the cave, Fatty Chu and the rest finally remembered the secret they had discovered today. Yue is really a girl? Fatty Chu still hadn't completely accepted this fact. If other people knew that Yue is a girl, the entire capital would be shocked. Wei Ziqi and the rest were also unsure. They had always thought that Sima Yue was a man. Now that she was a woman, they needed time to digest this fact. Since the people of the general's residence have always let her disguise as a man, there must be some secret. I think it's better if we don't tell anyone. Ouyang Fei said. I think so too. Wei Ziqi said, for over 10 years, no one has known that Yue is a girl. It can be seen that the general's residence has kept this matter a secret. If Yue wanted others to know, she would naturally say it. Since she didn't say it, there must be some unavoidable reason. You're right. We shouldn't say it out, in case it brings trouble to her. Fatty Chu nodded in agreement. However, Yue is already a 5th-level spirit master. It's really surprising. Indeed. Ouyang Fei nodded. The few of them chatted at the entrance of the cave. After a while, Bei Gong Tang informed them that everything was done and they could go in. Fatty Chu and the rest went in and saw Sima Yue lying on the bed. Her right cheek had been scratched by a rock during the fight and there was a long cut. After the blood was cleaned, it looked even more striking. Yue, your injury? Wei Ziqi asked. It's fine. I'll be fine after lying down for 2 days. Sima Yue said. I'm saying, the injury on your face. Will it leave a scar? Wei Ziqi said. If it was a guy, it wouldn't matter. However, the female lead paid more attention to her appearance. If her face was ruined, it would be the same as crippling her strength. Sima Yue blinked her eyes and understood Wei Ziqi's words. She said, it's fine. When we get back, I'll make some scar removal ointment and apply it for a period of time. That's good. After Wei Ziqi finished speaking, the atmosphere in the cave became a little awkward. What's wrong with you guys? Sima Yue saw that the few of them were looking at her strangely and felt a little scared. Cough cough. Yue, we suddenly found out that you were a girl. We haven't recovered yet. Fatty Chu said, but then again, if it weren't for what happened today, we wouldn't have found out that you were a girl. How did you dress up as a guy? Don't tell me it's the airport you mentioned before? Cough cough. How could I be an airport? Sima Yue almost choked on Fatty Chu's words. The last time when they were looking at beauties, she had mentioned an airport. She didn't think that this guy would remember it. If you're not an airport, then why didn't we notice that you had this thing? After he finished speaking, Fatty Chu rubbed his chest. His action was rather wretched. F*CKU, Fatty. SS Sima Yue shouted. Because she used too much strength, it affected the injuries on her body. She was in so much pain that she sucked in a breath of cold air. Be careful. Bei Gong Tang sat by the bed and stretched out her hand to press down on Sima Yue. She then turned around and scolded, Fatty, Yue's body is full of injuries right now. There aren't many bones in her body that are in good condition. You're still provoking her. I'm just speaking the truth. Fatty Chu shrunk his neck, feeling wronged. He was just curious. How did this Sima Yue escape their sharp eyes? This, we're also rather curious. Wei Ziqi said as he sized up Sima Yue. Ouyang Fei stared at Sima Yue. His meaning was self-evident. Cough cough, Yue, why don't you tell them? Otherwise, they'll keep staring at you. Bei Gong Tang said. She would not say that she was actually very curious as well. Sima Yue helplessly rolled her eyes, saying, if I don't say it, you guys probably won't give up. If those D*MN people think that I'm an airport, then it'll affect my image too much. Ah, it's this illusion ring on my hand. As long as I wear it, you guys will see my body as a man. After she finished speaking, she even took off the illusion ring. Her body seemed to have changed in an instant. Wei Ziqi and the others did not expect that Sima Yue would take off the illusion ring directly. A man immediately turned into a woman wearing a ***. Everyone was shocked. Sima Yue quickly put on the illusion ring again. The woman's body disappeared. In everyone's eyes, she was still dressed as a man. It was as if the woman just now did not exist. It's too magical. Fatty Chu cried out in surprise, there's actually a ring like this in this world. I thought that there were only interspatial rings. It's really magical. Wei Ziqi said, where did you get this ring from? If there's a chance, let's go get one and wear it. Hearing this, Sima Yue was stunned. Wu Lingyu's figure flashed past her eyes. She also remembered that forceful kiss before he left. She did not know what that bad guy, who was shouting for her to grow up quickly, was doing now. Had he already forgotten about her? In a faraway palace, Wu Lingyu, who was reading a book, suddenly felt something. He looked out of the window as if he had sensed something. Little guy, you have to grow up quickly. Chapter 92. Yuyue, you're clearly a girl. Why did you dress up as a man? Fatty Chu asked. Sima Yuming pursed his lips, saying, I don't know either. Grandfather made me do this. He didn't tell me why. Don't worry, we've already discussed it. We won't tell anyone about you. The fact that you're a woman will never spread from our mouths. Yes, I know you won't. Sima Yuyue was certain that if they had such thoughts, she would not have saved them. Ugh, a murmur from the wall reminded Sima Yuyue of their presence. Who are these people? Why do they want to harm us? Wei Ziqi looked at the few people who had been thrown to the side and asked with a frown. Look at the person on the far right. Sima Yuyue said. The person on the far right? When that person was thrown down by Fatty Chu, his body was facing the wall, so no one noticed him. Hearing Sima Yuyue's words, Fatty Chu ran over and kicked that person, making him face upwards. It's him? Fatty Chu cried out in surprise. Fatty, you know him? Wei Ziqi asked. Not only do I know him, you guys know him as well. Fatty Chu moved to the side, allowing Wei Ziqi and the rest to see the face on the ground. It's him? How could it be him? Could it be? Seeing that person, the three of them were indeed surprised. They immediately thought of the incident with the wolf pack. At that time, they all felt that something was amiss. Now, it seemed that they had deliberately attracted the wolf pack. They actually tried to kill us again and again. Wei Ziqi clenched his fists tightly. His good upbringing prevented him from immediately rushing up to kill them. Who are these people? Why do you want to kill us? Ouyang Fei was puzzled. I think I know the reason. Fatty Chu said. You know? Bei Gong Tang looked at Fatty Chu. How did he know? Fatty Chu came to the side of that person and kicked him. He looked at that person's face and said, I know this guy. He's 1 year higher than us. People call him Skinny Monkey. So you're saying that these people are all from the sect? Wei Ziqi asked. Fatty Chu nodded, saying, this Skinny Monkey is Takeda's follower. I heard that Takeda is madly infatuated with Nalan Lan. So you're saying that they want to harm us because they want to take revenge for Nalan Lan because I chased her out of the sect? Sima Yuyue said, speaking of which, I've implicated you all. Yuyue, don't say that. We're a team. There's no such thing as you not. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have become food. Wei Ziqi said. Calm, Yuyue, you. Since we know they're. Now. You. How should we deal with these people? Everyone fell silent at the mention of this. Since these people wanted to kill them, there was no need for them to spare their lives. However, now that he knew that they were from the academy's rules stated that they were not allowed to harm other students. Otherwise they would be expelled. This greatly restricted their actions. Everyone turned their gaze to Sima Yuyue. Since they came because of her, she had the right to speak. Sima Yuyue smiled and said, I don't know any of these people. Since we met someone in Pu Luo mountain range who wanted to kill us, we naturally had to retaliate. We don't know who they are either, right? Hearing Sima Yuyue say this, everyone was stunned. Yes, we don't know any of these people. We don't even know which power they're from. We also don't know why they want to harm us. Bei Gong Tang was the first to react and replied Sima Yuyue. There were so many people coming and going in Pu Luo mountain range. If they met someone who wanted to kill them, they would definitely retaliate. If they accidentally killed them, it would have nothing to do with the sect. After all, they didn't know their identities beforehand. Yes, we don't know them. Wei Ziqi nodded his head with certainty. Since that's the case, what should we do with these people who we don't know and want to kill us? Ouyang Fei asked. Sima Yuyue heard everyone say this and laughed in her heart. These guys were actually quite black-bellied. No matter what we do, we can't let them leave this mountain range alive. Bei Gong Tang said, if there's no other way, I don't mind ending their lives personally. Why dirty our hands? Sima Yuyue said, since they know how to use spirit beasts to deal with us, we have to give them a taste of their own medicine. Yuyue, do you have any good ideas? Seeing Sima Yuyue's bright eyes, Fatty Chu knew that she didn't have any good ideas. This, you'll know when the time comes. Sima Yuyue didn't say anything and only smiled mysteriously. When the others saw this, they knew that she had an idea and didn't ask anymore. That, Yuyue. After saying this, Bei Gong Tang looked at Sima Yuyue and hesitated. Sima Yuyue immediately understood what she meant, and with a thought, a golden snake fruit appeared in her hand. She handed the golden snake fruit over and said, keep this first. The golden snake fruit can't be left outside for too long. Be careful not to attract spirit beasts. It really is the golden snake fruit. Fatty Chu looked at the golden fruit in surprise. Yuyue, how did you get it? Don't ask about this. Sima Yuyue stuffed the golden snake fruit into Bei Gong Tang's hands, and Bei Gong Tang kept it in her interspatial ring. Yuyue, thank you. Although Sima Yuyue didn't say it, they all knew that it wasn't easy. After all, there were so many spirit beasts and powers that were coveting this thing. Sima Yuyue looked at the other three and said, you all have a share too. However, if you let a person consume this golden snake fruit directly, the power will be too violent and the human body won't be able to handle it. I know a pill master who can refine it into pills. Do you all want the fruit or the pills now? Fatty Chu and the others thought for a while and said, since this fruit isn't suitable for humans to consume directly, I'll take the pills. I want the pills too. Wei Ziqi said. Ouyang Fei was silent for a while and said, I want the fruit. Sima Yuyue didn't ask why and took a fruit and handed it to Ouyang Fei. He took the fruit and kept it. Previously, she said that as long as they helped Bei Gong Tang scatter that thing on the Nalan clan's people, she would share it with them. So they could have whatever they wanted. In any case, she had received the golden snake fruit tree. To her soul that was damaged, it was the greatest treasure. Furthermore, Little Spirit had just told her that it could create a space and speed up the flow of time there, reducing the time it took for the golden snake fruit to ripen. Who knows, she might have the golden snake fruit again soon. As for the pills, Mo Sha could help her settle it. She only needed to inject spiritual energy when she was condensing the pills. Seeing that Sima Yuyue was so generous, the other four people were very touched and the team became even more cohesive. Chapter 93. Fatty, Ziqi, your pills will probably take some time to finish. Sima Yuyue said. It's alright, we're not in a hurry right now. Fatty Chu said. In their hearts, they didn't help much in this matter. Being able to get some rewards was already an unexpected surprise. If they could really obtain a pill that could increase their strength, it wouldn't be a problem to wait for a while. Oh right, Yuyu, what did you want us to throw at the Nalan clan? Bei Gong Tang asked. Knockout powder, Sima Yuyue said, once the smell is on your body, you can't wash it off even if you wash it off. What does it do? Ouyang Fei asked. Well, you'll know after we've recovered. Sima Yuyue smiled evilly. Since the people of the Nalan family went back to find trouble with the Sima family, then let them not go out. Alright, Yuyue is injured and can't talk too much. Everyone is tired, so let's rest. Ouyang Fei said. Yes. Because Sima Yuyue and Bei Gong Tang were sleeping on the bed, Ouyang Fei and the rest could only find a place to rest in the cave. They did not have a big bed, but they had brought along chairs and other things. The cave quickly quieted down. Due to the events of the day, everyone was very tired and quickly fell asleep. Sima Yuyue looked at Ouyang Fei's side profile and was confused. There weren't many grade 4 pills in the entire Dongchen country. He said that he was an orphan, so how could he have such a precious pill? And no matter how she looked at him, she felt that he was not an ordinary person. Although she had doubts in her heart, she didn't say anything. Just like how she had so many secrets, who didn't have things that others didn't want to know? The night passed quickly. The pills in Sima Yoyue's body took effect quickly. Coupled with her special physique, she was able to get out of bed and walk the next morning. Wow, Yoyue, your recovery ability is amazing. Seeing Sima Yoyue's appearance, everyone was so shocked that their jaws dropped. It's Ouyang's elixir pill that's effective. Sima Yoyue pushed all the blame to the elixir pill. How is Bei Gong? Ouyang Fei did not continue the topic of pills, but turned to ask Bei Gong Tang. Other than my leg still hurting a little, everything else is fine. Bei Gong Tang said with a smile. The pill that Sima Yoyue gave her wasn't of a high grade, but she wasn't seriously injured, so it wasn't a big deal. Let's rest for another day and do other things tomorrow. Wei Ziqi looked at the few people by the wall and said. The matter he was talking about was naturally dealing with these people. You two rest first. We'll go find something to eat. Ouyang Fei said. No need, I have it. Sima Yoyue said. Then let's go get some water. Me too. Sima Yoyue said. Where is the firewood? Sima Yoyue wanted to say that she did, but she didn't want everyone to think that she was an omnipotent doryman, so she smiled and shook her head. Then let's go find some firewood. Ouyang Fei said as he went out. We'll be nearby. If anything happens, just shout and we'll be able to rush back. After speaking, Wei Ziqi and Fatty Chu also went out. What's up with them? Sima Yoyue looked at the three of them rushing out and looked at Bei Gong Tang, puzzled. Cough cough, I think it's something that's not convenient to talk about. Bei Gong Tang said. Something that's not convenient to talk about? Then it's convenient? Sima Yoyue nodded her head in understanding. Humans have 3 needs. What's so difficult to talk about? Sima Yoyue despised the 3 of them in her heart. However, she didn't think that they would say such things in front of her when she was a guy. Now that she was a girl, they felt embarrassed. Bei Gong, we've already gotten the golden snake fruit. You should quickly let your contracted beast eat it. Sima Yoyue said. Bei Gong Tang nodded. With a thought, a green bird appeared in the cave. This is Qingwan. Sima Yoyue looked at the transformed Mage and asked in shock. Qingwan belonged to the Phoenix clan. Her teacher had said that there were no phoenixes in the Yilin continent. However, Bei Gong Tang had actually contracted a Qingwan. Did that mean that she wasn't from this continent? Bei Gong Tang turned a blind eye to the shock in Sima Yoyue's eyes and the understanding that followed. She knew that Sima Yoyue would know something when she saw Meng Ji, but she also believed that Sima Yoyue wouldn't say anything. Meng Ji, Meng Ji. Bei Gong Tang called out a few times and Meng Ji slowly opened its eyes. Master. Meng Ji's voice was a little weak. It seemed that her injuries weren't light. Thinking that Bei Gong Tang wouldn't call out to her for no reason, her eyes lit up. Master, you called me out. Could it be? Bei Gong Tang smiled as she took out the golden snake fruit and placed it in front of Meng Ji's mouth, saying, this golden snake fruit was snatched by Yoyue. We have to thank her. Meng Ji looked at Sima Yoyue who was lying on the bed and said gratefully, thank you. Sima Yoyue waved her hand, saying, your master has already promised to give her body to me. You don't have to thank me. Meng Ji heard and looked anxiously at Bei Gong Tang, saying, Master, how can you do this? If you have to use your life's happiness to exchange for this, Meng Ji would rather not. Seeing Meng Ji's reaction, Sima Yoyue laughed out loud. Meng Ji, Yoyue is just joking with you. Bei Gong Tang said with a smile, she's a girl. How can I give my life to her? Alright, this golden snake fruit will attract spirit beasts if it's left outside for too long. Quickly eat it and go back to heal your injuries. Master, is she really a girl? Meng Ji looked at Sima Yoyue suspiciously. Why couldn't she tell that Sima Yoyue was a girl at all? She didn't even smell like one. Alright, quickly eat it and go back. Sima Yue said, not only is your body injured, even your soul is not lightly injured. That's why you haven't recovered after so long. Aside from increasing your strength, this golden snake fruit can also heal your soul. Why aren't you going back to heal? Meng Ji was extremely shocked. How did she know that her soul was injured? Even Bei Gong Tang didn't know about this. Your soul is injured? No wonder your injuries haven't healed after so long. Bei Gong Tang said. Since it's like this, I'll go back first. Meng Ji saw Bei Gong Tang's questioning gaze and returned to the contract space with the golden snake fruit in her mouth. Seeing Bei Gong Tang's anxious look, Sima Yue smiled, saying, she didn't want to tell you because she was afraid that you would be worried. Anyway, with the golden snake fruit, I believe that she will be fine very quickly. You don't have to worry. Yue, how did you know that Meng Ji's soul was injured? Bei Gong Tang asked. Because I have the fiery eyes of truth. Sima Yue said with a smile. She wouldn't say that it was Imo Sha who told her, so she could only change the topic and ask, oh right, why aren't those three guys back yet? Just as she finished speaking, she heard the sound of footsteps. That sound was clearly coming from the direction of the cave. However, it wasn't the three of them. There were a few more people. Bei Gong Tang also heard that the footsteps weren't right. The two of them looked at the entrance of the cave vigilantly. Chapter 94. The footsteps were getting closer and closer. Sima Yue had already taken out a handful of medicinal powder and placed it in Bei Gong Tang's hands. The two of them were still injured, and their fighting strength had decreased a lot. If they really encountered bad people, they could still save them for a while. The cave that Little Roar had found could be considered hidden, but the sound of footsteps could be heard coming towards the cave. He did not hear Ouyang Fei and the others' cries for help, which meant that the person who came was much stronger than them. That was why they did not even have the time to call for help. Right now, it had only been 2 days since the incident with the golden snake fruit. Perhaps there were some powers that had yet to leave and were wandering around the mountains, coincidentally meeting Fatty Chu and the others. Just as the two of them were guessing, those people finally arrived at the cave. We're back. Fatty Chu's round body appeared at the entrance of the cave, followed by Ouyang Fei and Wei Ziqi. Seeing that the three of them had no external injuries, the two of them relaxed and asked, are you guys alright? Before Fatty Chu could finish his sentence, he was lifted up from behind and placed aside. Following that, a few unexpected figures appeared in front of Sima Yue, causing her to cry out involuntarily, third brother, fourth brother? Why are you here? Fifth brother, I heard that you were injured. Quick, let third bro take a look. Sima Yuran quickly came to Sima Yue's side. He wanted to touch her but was afraid of hurting her. Third bro, I'm fine now. Sima Yue grabbed Sima Yuran's hand and tried to calm him down. Fifth bro, what happened? How did you get injured so badly? Sima Yue walked over, his eyes filled with worry and anger. I'll tell you later. Sima Yue said, you haven't answered me yet. Why are you here? We're here to gain experience. Sima Yue said, it just so happens that both of our teams are going to Pu Luo mountain range, so we'll go together. It was only then that Sima Yue realized that apart from the two of them, there were a few other people standing outside the cave. It looked like they were Sima Yuran's classmates. Alright, now tell me, how did you get injured? Sima Yuran looked at Sima Yue, saying, that brat Chu just said that all the bones in your body were broken yesterday. How did you get injured so badly? This fatty Chu, didn't he know that their family's brothers were all brother-obsessed? He even dared to tell them that all the bones in his body were broken. Sima Yue glared fiercely at Fatty Chu, then looked at the 5 people who were still unconscious and said, it's them. They lured us into the territory of the ferocious beasts. You don't know how many wolves there were, they scared us to death. It's these people? Sima Yuran looked coldly at these people, as if they were already a pile of corpses. Yes, that's them. Sima Yue said. I'm going to kill them. Sima Yulo stood up and took out his sword to kill those people. Fourth brother, calm down. Sima Yu pulled on Sima Yulo, saying, these 5 people cannot die in our hands. Why? Everyone was puzzled. Because they are from the sect. Sima Yuyue explained what had happened, but she did not mention the snake incident. Instead, she said that the wolf pack incident was related to this incident. Too despicable. Sima Yulo angrily went up and kicked those people a few times. Then what do you plan to do? Sima Yuran naturally noticed the loopholes in Sima Yoyue's words. For example, why did they capture these people? Why did only she and Bei Gong Tang get injured and so on? However, since there were outsiders present, he did not expose her and went along with her words. Of course, we'll give them a taste of their own medicine. Sima Yuyue said, they threw us into the wolf pack, so we can let them experience the same thing. We're lucky to have survived, but whether or not they can survive will depend on their own abilities. Brothers and sisters, you won't reveal this matter, right? Pu Luo mountain range has always been a place where spirit beasts run rampant. Encountering a few spirit beasts is a normal thing. A girl wearing a red robe said. That's right. The others agreed. Seeing the anger in their eyes, they must be disgusted by the shameless actions of these people. Since you want to do this, then do it. Sima Yuran ruffled Sima Yoyue's hair, messing it up. Sima Yuyue slapped his hand away, saying, third brother, fourth brother, are you here to complete a mission? We've already completed our mission and will return tomorrow. You can go ahead and complete your mission first. Don't think of chasing us away. Sima Yuran said, we've already completed our mission last night and are preparing to return. We can wait for you to recover before we leave. Ah, that's not good. We can't let the other brothers and sisters wait. Sima Yuyue said. No problem, 1 or 2 more days won't matter. Those people said. Sima Yuyue could tell that her 2 brothers were the core members of these 2 teams. If they said that they would not leave, the others would not say anything. All right. She buried her head in the pillow. It seemed that they would not leave on their own. Those people knew that Sima Yuyue and her 2 brothers had just met and definitely had something to say, so they all left. Even Bei Gong Tang found an excuse to get Ouyang Fei and the others to bring her out. Seeing that there was no one in the cave, Sima Yuran asked, tell me, what happened to your injury? I knew I couldn't hide it from you. Look at fourth brother, he didn't find anything wrong. Sima Yuyue said with pursed lips. You're still talking. Sima Yuran slapped Sima Yoyue's head, if it weren't for them, I would have slapped you twice. You even lied to your brothers. I didn't lie to you guys on purpose. Sima Yuyue looked at Sima Yulo pitifully, hoping that he would speak up for her. However, Sima Yulo did not stand on her side this time. He turned his head to the side and refused to look at her. All right, tell me honestly. What happened to your injury? Sima Yuran said with a straight face. All right. Sima Yuyue told them about the wolf pack and the snake incident. After that, she looked at Sima Yuran and the others with grievance. Your teammates were there just now. I couldn't let them know that I was a girl, so I could only make it up. Furthermore, this isn't considered making it up. The wolf pack incident was indeed caused by them. These people. Sima Yulo clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles turned white. It was only then that he resisted the urge to kill them. So you're saying that your teammates all know that you're a girl? Sima Yuran's attention was on this point. If they said it out, it would be troublesome. Third brother, don't worry. They said that they won't say it out. Sima Yuyue said, I trust them. I trust that you won't act rashly now. Sima Yuran said, you should recuperate today. We'll head to Salt City tomorrow. Grandfather is still waiting for us there. Grandfather hasn't gone back yet? Sima Yuyue asked. The moment she said this, she realized that something was wrong. However, it was too late. Sima Yuran, who had just calmed down, stared at her with a straight face. It's over. I can't escape this time. Sima Yuyue cried in her heart. Chapter 95. How did you know that grandfather would come here? Sima Yuran stared at Sima Yuyu. That gaze made her heart flutter. Ahem, well, I saw it that day. Sima Yuyue grinned and said, Third brother, didn't you come here a long time ago? How did you know that Grandpa was here? We met Grandpa yesterday morning. He said that he would stay in Yen City for a few more days. If we can get out, we will go and look for him. Sima Yuran said, Don't try to change the topic. Grandfather didn't say that he met you in the mountains yesterday, which means that he didn't know you were here. Tell me, where did you see Grandpa? Did you secretly run off to steal the golden snake fruit? Seeing the way Sima Yuran was acting, Sima Yuyu buried her head into the pillow, saying, I just went to take a look. It's a very, very far place. I didn't go over. Do you think I believe you? Sima Yuran knew that Sima Yuyu was not far away when he saw her like that. When Sima Yulu heard that Sima Yuyu had actually gone to snatch the golden snake fruit, he immediately cried out, Fifth bro, how could you go to such a dangerous place? Don't you know that this thing has attracted many powers and spirit beasts? It's such a dangerous place, and you actually went to watch the fun. You really? If Grandpa finds out, you'll see how he'll deal with you this time. Hearing Sima Yuli's words, Sima Yuyu immediately raised her head. Third elder brother, fourth elder brother, you have to keep this a secret for me. You can't let Grandpa know about this. Sima Yuyu looked at the two of them bitterly. She blinked her eyes and started to act cute. If it was in the past, she would definitely feel very uncomfortable doing such an action. But now, perhaps because she was facing her family, she didn't feel uncomfortable at all. How can we hide such a big matter from you? Sima Yuran reprimanded her coldly. Do you know what would happen to us if something happened to you? How sad would Grandpa be? I was wrong. Sima Yuyu admitted her mistake sincerely. No matter what the reason was, it was not valid in the face of his family's worries. It's good that you know you were wrong. Sima Yulo saw Sima Yuyu being reprimanded by Sima Yuran with a cold expression and felt a little sorry for her, so he spoke up for her. That's right, third brother. Don't be angry. I just went to take a look out of curiosity. I won't do it again. Sima Yuyu sounded sincere. She almost patted her chest and promised. Sima Yuran was not as easy to talk to as Sima Yulo. His expression remained cold. Sima Yulo winked at Sima Yuyu and she immediately understood. She pulled on Sima Yuran's sleeve and shook it. Third brother, I really know I was wrong. Don't be angry. When you get angry, my little heart trembles. Ouch, my wound hurts again. Fifth bro, where does it hurt? Sima Yulu asked anxiously. Sigh, it hurts everywhere. Sima Yuyue complained. You're awake. I know you're faking it. Sima Yuran looked at Sima Yuyue helplessly. Why did this guy feel even more shameless than before? We don't have to tell grandfather about this. But if you dare to act this way again, let alone tell grandfather, I'll punish you first. Knowing that Sima Yuran said this, the matter was over. Sima Yuyue giggled and said, I won't do it again. After speaking, she added a sentence in her heart, I won't let you know next time. If Sima Yuran knew what she was thinking, he would definitely be angered to death. Alright, let's continue to recuperate today. We'll see how your body is tomorrow. If it doesn't work out, we'll wait for another day. We'll go out and discuss the itinerary with them. Sima Yuran said as he walked out. Sima Yulu walked behind him. He turned around and made an okay gesture to Sima Yuyue before turning around to leave. Sima Yuyue buried her face in the pillow once again. She lamented in her heart how she had made such a stupid mistake. However, she felt warm because of her family's concern. After Sima Yuran and Sima Yuyue left, Wei Ziqi supported Bei Gong Tangin. The relationship between the five of them changed slightly because of her identity. At the very least, Bei Gong Tang would talk to her like a girl. Although she was still lying on the bed today, her wounds were healing at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. On the next day, Sima Yuyue did not want to delay everyone's journey. She ignored the pain in her bones and insisted on setting off. Sima Yuran could not change her mind and could only let them set off. However, before they left the mountain range, they had a few things to settle. Yu, do you want to wake them up now? Fatty Chu asked. If they don't wake up, how can this be considered fair? Sima Yuyue said as she took out a bottle of medicine and threw it to Fatty Chu. Put this under their noses and let them smell it. Fatty Chu did as he was told. After they smelled the medicine, they woke up not long after. Sima Yuyue. Leader Wu Tian saw Sima Yuyue and his dazed mind immediately woke up. It's me. Looks like I'm awake. Sima Yuyue said, you haven't eaten for a few days. You must be very weak, right? What do you want to do? Skinny Monkey saw the evil smile on Sima Yuyue's face and suddenly felt a chill in his heart. A chill rose from the bottom of his heart. Nothing much. I just want to learn from you guys. Sima Yuyue said, this antidote won't be able to recover your strength in a short period of time. The timing is just right. Fatty Chu, be careful. Don't get it on yourself. Otherwise, don't blame us for abandoning you. Fatty Chu took the bottle and sprinkled some on their bodies, saying, don't worry, I won't be so stupid. After sprinkling the powder on the 5 of them, everyone walked out of the cave. What did you guys do to us? Wu Tian shouted loudly at Sima Yuyue as the fear of the unknown filled his heart. Everyone else had already left. Fatty Chu turned around and said, didn't I say that I wanted to learn from you guys? Now you guys can properly experience the feeling of being favored by spirit beasts. After speaking, he left without looking back. Not long after Sima Yuyue and the others left, a few spirit beasts followed the smell and came to the cave. When they saw Wu Tian and the others, they attacked them like crazy. Very quickly, the 5 of them were dealt with cleanly. Not even a bone was left. Yu, what did you sprinkle on them? When they were far away from the cave, they could still hear the final screams of Wu Tian and the others. Sima Yulu went beside Sima Yuyue and asked. It's nothing much. It's just some powder to attract spirit beasts. Sima Yuyue said. How did you get that? Sima Yuren asked. I bought it before I came. Because there were outsiders present, Sima Yuyue casually said. Although these people were her 2 brothers' teammates, she was not familiar with them. That was why she did not plan to let them know about her. Chapter 96. Sima Yuran and the others did not know that Sima Yuyu had medical skills, so they did not think that she was the one who had personally created this. At this rate, we should be able to leave in a few days. Wei Ziqi changed the topic appropriately. We're finally going out. After staying in the mountains for so long, I feel like I've turned into a spirit beast. Fatty Chu said with a smile. I think you're a barbarian who has been staying here all this time. Sima Yuyue said with a smile. What barbarian? This young master misses the bustling world of the capital. If I really had to stay in the mountains for half a year or a year, would definitely go crazy. Fatty Chu said. You're just too restless. That's why you're so far behind Ouyang and Bei Gong. Sima Yuyue said as she slapped Fatty Chu's head. Thinking that he was the weakest amongst the 5 of them, Fatty Chu shrugged his shoulders awkwardly and didn't refute Sima Yuyue's words. However, she swore to herself that she would not fall behind Sima Yuyue. It was this vow that made him put more effort into his cultivation in the future, allowing him to constantly improve. The journey out was peaceful. Even if they encountered some low-level spirit beasts, it wouldn't be too much of a problem with the strength of a dozen or so people. 3 days later, they finally left the Pu Luo mountain range while riding on the spirit beasts. The spirit beast carried them and continued to rush towards Salt City. Sima Yu sat on the back of Sima Yu Rant's spirit beast. She turned her head back and looked at the endless mountains under the blue sky. She sighed heavily in her heart. Bei Gong Tang sat behind Wei Ziqi's spirit beast and saw Sima Yue turn around to look. They also glanced at her and felt the same way. None of them had expected that they would encounter so many things in this operation. After walking on the edge of life and death several times, they had helped and cared for each other. Originally, they were only together because of the Academy's request, but now, they had truly developed a friendship of life and death. They had become a true team. Sima Yue saw that Bei Gong Tang and the others were also looking back, so she shifted her gaze to them. Coincidentally, they were also looking back. The three of them looked at each other and smiled knowingly. Sensing their previous interaction, Ouyang Fei and Fatty Chu looked over as well. Everyone could see the smiles in each other's eyes. A warm current flowed into each other's hearts, allowing them to find a different kind of warmth in this team. The spirit beast brought the group of people to Yen City very quickly. When they reached the outskirts of the city, they kept their spirit beasts and went straight to the inn that Sima Lai was staying at. Coincidentally, it was also the place where Sima Yue and the others had stayed. The innkeeper was calculating the accounts at the counter when he heard someone come in. He looked up and said with a smile, "Oh, dear guests, I'm really sorry. Our inn has been booked by someone and we can't stay for the time being. Do you want to check out other places? We came to look for someone." Sima Yuran said. Looking for someone? That guest didn't say that anyone would come looking for them. The innkeeper said suspiciously, "I'm sorry, everyone. Those people have instructed that without them, we are not to disturb them." At this moment, a guard came down from upstairs. When he saw Sima Yuran and the others, he quickly came down and bowed to them, saying, "Third young master, fourth young master, fifth young master, you're finally here. Xiao Ling, where's grandfather?" Sima Yuran asked. "Master is upstairs. We're preparing to return to the capital. I came down to check out." Xiao Ling replied. Xiao Ling was Sima Lai's personal guard. Seeing that his expression was not right, Sima Yue asked, "Did something happen to grandfather?" Xiao Ling never thought that Sima Yue would be so sensitive and guessed it immediately. He was stunned for a moment before saying, "Yes. The general is injured. We're preparing to bring him back to the capital to look for Great Master Shi." "You're going back to look for him? Then grandfather's injury is very serious?" Sima Yue was shocked. "What happened to grandfather?" "We don't know either. When the general went out yesterday, he didn't let us follow him. When he came back this morning, he was seriously injured and has been unconscious for half a day. We've looked for the local alchemists to take a look, but they were helpless. It's useless to look for an alchemist either. That's why we're planning to return to the capital to look for Great Master Shi." Xiao Ling replied. "Don't check out yet. I'm going to take a look at grandfather," Sima Yue said and ran upstairs. "Xiao Ling, get the innkeeper to arrange rooms for everyone," Sima Yuran said and ran up as well. Sima Yue didn't say anything and chased after him in a hurry. Xiao Ling didn't know why Sima Yue wouldn't let them check out. However, since Sima Yue had instructed him, he turned around and said to the innkeeper, "Arrange rooms for everyone." After speaking, he went upstairs as well. Sima Yue didn't need to ask for Sima Lai's room. She went upstairs and ran towards the door where there were guards. "Fifth young master." When the guards saw Sima Yue, they were surprised to see her here. However, Sima Yue didn't give them any time and directly pushed the door open and entered. Sima Yuran and Sima Yule came up and nodded at the guards before entering the room. This room was the room that Sima Yue had stayed in before. When she entered the room, she immediately saw Sima Lai lying in the bedroom. "Grandfather." She ran over and saw that Sima Lai's eyes were tightly shut and his eyebrows were furrowed together. His lips were trembling and he seemed to be in great pain. His face was black and looked like he had been poisoned. She quickly grabbed Sima Lai's hand and took his pulse. When Sima Yu ran and Sima Yu Lo saw Sima lie in this state, they panicked. When they saw that Sima Yu was taking his pulse, they forgot that she didn't have any medical skills and asked, Yu, how is grandfather? Sima Yu didn't say anything. After taking his pulse, she put down Sima Lai's hand and said, there is a poison in grandfather's body that is wreaking havoc. However, it is different from the usual poison. Sima Yu was a little puzzled as she looked at Sima Lai's body for a while. Suddenly, she grabbed his clothes and pulled, revealing his pitch-black chest. What is this? Sima Yu saw the thing on Sima Lai's chest and cried out in shock. As for Mo Shah, who was recovering his soul beside the golden snake fruit tree, he suddenly opened his eyes and his eyes flashed with suspicion. As expected, Sima Yu saw the black aura on Sima Lai's chest and sucked in a breath. Her expression was incomparably solemn. You know this? Sima Yu looked at Sima Yu suspiciously as he asked. I guess I know. I've seen it in a book before. Sima Yu said. Then do you know how to save grandfather? If it's not possible, we can immediately use the teleportation array to return to the capital. Sima Yu said. It's too late. Sima Yu shook her head. Using the teleportation array to return to the capital will take a day. If the poison in grandfather's body is not expelled, he will die in half a day. What did you say? Sima Yu and Sima Yu were flustered by these words. It was a good thing that Sima Yu reacted quickly and held onto Sima Yu's shoulder, saying, Fifth bro, since you know this thing, do you know how to remove it? Chapter 97. Sima Yu shook her head and said, I haven't thought of a way. I can only suppress the poison in Grandpa's body for a while. How long? 2 days. Sima Yu said, we have to think of a way to detoxify the poison within these 2 days. Otherwise, the result will be the same after 2 days. Okay, help grandfather suppress the poison first. Sima Yu said anxiously. Take off grandpa's shirt. Sima Yu nodded at the two of them and said. Just as Xiaoling came in, she ordered, tell the waiter to bring up a jar of liquor and new cotton cloth. Xiaoling saw that Sima Yu was stripping Sima Lai of his clothes and did not know what Sima Yu wanted to do. However, he immediately ordered the guards at the door to do as Sima Yu said. Very quickly, the strong wine and new cotton cloth were brought up. Sima Yu had already taken off Sima Lai's clothes. Xiaoling took the jug and gestured for the guardsman to leave and close the door. The liquor is here, fifth young master. Xiaoling said as he approached with a jar of liquor. Sima Yu took the cotton cloth and had Xiaoling open the wine jar, before holding the jar and pouring wine onto the cloth. Once the cotton cloth was completely soaked by the strong alcohol, she used the cotton cloth to wipe Sima Lai's entire upper body. After wiping it 3 times, she threw the cotton cloth aside. With a thought, an exquisite box appeared in front of everyone. She opened the box and took out the silver needles inside. She quickly inserted them into Sima Lai's body, followed by the second one, the third. Sima Yu and the other 2 watched as Sima Yu inserted needles all over Sima Lai's body. They were all extremely puzzled, not knowing what these needles were for. Half an hour later, Sima Yu's forehead was covered with perspiration. She heaved a sigh of relief after the last needle was inserted. Fifth bro, are you done? Sima Yu asked when he felt Sima Yu relax. Sima Yu wiped the sweat off her forehead with her sleeve and said, yes, it's under control for now. Sima Yu had to be very careful with every step. She could not afford to make a single mistake. This put a lot of pressure on her. Fortunately, she was able to successfully insert the needles and suppress the poison in Sima Lai's chest. The scar on grandfather's face disappeared. Sima Yu said excitedly as he looked at Sima Lai's face. Sima Yu and Xiaoling took a look. As expected, the black aura on his face had disappeared, and his complexion returned to normal. However, because of his injuries, he was still pale. Fifth bro, how did you do that? Sima Yue asked. I used a silver needle. Yu. Acupoints, what's that? Sima Yue frowned and asked. Also, fifth bro, when did you learn medicine? Sima Yue said, grandfather can't move for now. Yue said Yue, T Yue said, grandfather tst Yue, I'm going back to my room to rest and see if I can think of anything. Yue Sima Yue kept the remaining silver needles into her interspatial ring and turned around to leave. Sima Yue looked at her back and his eyes flashed with suspicion. Sima Yue went to the room next door. It did not matter who the room belonged to before, it was now hers. She locked the door from the inside and entered the soul pearl in a flash. She wanted to see if there was anything here that could help her. She didn't expect to see Mo Sha the moment she entered. Mo Sha, why are you here? Aren't you beside the golden snake fruit tree? What is the shape of the black chi on your grandfather's chest? Mo Sha asked directly. Sima Yue knew that Mo Sha could freely enter and exit the spirit pearl, so she guessed that he would know what was going on outside, so she wasn't surprised that he knew about Sima Lai's situation. She thought for a while and said, I think it's a chicken claw print, but it has 6 fingers. Sima Yue said. 6 fingers, as expected. Mo Sha muttered. Sima Yue looked at Mo Sha's reaction and asked, you know? That's not poison, it's demonic chi. Mo Sha said. What? Demonic chi? Sima Yue widened her eyes. Didn't you say that the devil clansmen are all in the devil realm? Why would there be demonic chi on grandfather's body? How would I know? I haven't been back for many years. Mo Sha said, why would there be demonic chi on your grandfather's body? You can just ask him when he wakes up. Since it's demonic chi, do you have a way to save my grandfather? Sima Yue looked at Mo Sha expectantly. Mo Sha had never seen Sima Yue look at him like that. In the past, no matter if she was threatening him, thanking him, or ignoring him, her eyes always carried a faint sense of alienation, but now he saw a trace of dependence in her eyes. This made him, who had never felt dependence, feel strange. How is it, is there a way or not? Sima Yue saw that Mo Sha didn't speak, so she urged him. Mo Sha put away the strange feeling in his heart and said, there is a way, and it's very simple, but after the demonic chi is expelled, your grandfather's body will be damaged. Then what do we do? Sima Yue asked. As long as you have a Huangji pill, it'll be fine. Mo Sha said. Huangji pill? What kind of pill is that? What grade is it? Sima Yue asked. It's a pill that helps the human body recover. 4th grade. Mo Sha said. 4th grade? Sima Yue was stunned when she heard that. Where was she going to find a 4th grade Huangji pill now? If it's really not possible, then we'll save grandfather's life first. We'll think of a way to recover his strength later. I saw it, there are ingredients for the Huangji pill in the spirit pearl. Mo Sha said. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him, blinking her eyes. That's right, you can refine pills. Can you help me refine a Huangji pill? If you want me to help, I can do it, but you have to promise me one thing. Mo Sha said. Sima Yue stared blankly, then her face darkened, saying, if you can save my grandfather, I promise you that when we can cancel our contract, I will cancel it. Mo Sha didn't think that Sima Yue would know what he was thinking. Thinking about the relationship between the two of them, it wasn't strange that she knew. However, he didn't think it was bad. With his status, how could he be bound by one person for his entire life? Since you know, then I don't have to say it. I can refine the Huangji pill, but you'll need to inject spiritual energy in the end. Otherwise, without using demonic energy, the pill will directly take his life. Mo Sha said. I know. Then when do we start? Sima Yue asked. When you've rested enough. Mo Sha said, I'll take this chance to prepare the ingredients. Sima Yue nodded. She went to where the golden snake fruit tree was and sat down to meditate. This golden snake fruit tree had healing effects on the soul and could help her quickly recover her spiritual energy. When she felt that she had more or less recovered, Mo Shah appeared in front of her, saying, "The ingredients have been prepared, we can start now. This 5th grade pill requires quite a bit of spiritual energy, so you have to be prepared. These pills are pills that I just refined to recover spiritual energy. You have dark energy in your body, so there won't be any abnormalities after consuming them." Chapter 98. Sima Yuyue took the pill and looked at the black pill in her hand. She didn't think that the pill that Mo Shah casually refined to recover spiritual energy would be a 3rd-level pill. Then how high was his alchemy level? Since you can refine pills by yourself, why do you need my help? Sima Yuyue was puzzled as she recalled that he wanted her help to refine pills. After all, I'm just a spiritual body. I can still endure refining these low-level pills. If it's a high-level pill, I don't have enough demonic chi to condense the pill. I see. She put away the pill and stood up, saying, "Let's begin." Mo Shah didn't know what Sima Yuyue was thinking as he brought him to the alchemy room. Little Spirit was already waiting there. He knew that Sima Yuyue was anxious now. He glanced at her and did not say anything. "I'm going to start now. When I tell you to start, you have to start injecting spiritual power into it. If I don't tell you to stop, you can't stop. Otherwise, it will be scrapped. When you don't have enough spiritual energy, take some pills." It was rare for Mo Shah to be so kind as to advise her. "Okay." Sima Yuyue nodded and shifted her gaze to the alchemy furnace. Although it was said that he was refining pills for his grandfather this time, it was also a learning opportunity. By watching others concoct pills, he could also reflect on his own shortcomings and seek improvement. Mo Shah seemed to have the same idea, so he slowed down his refining process as much as possible so that Sima Yuyue could understand. However, because of this, the original 3 to 4 hours had been extended by nearly an hour. "Begin," Mo Shah said. Sima Yuyue also guessed that it was about time to condense the pill, so she was already prepared. When Mo Shah shouted to start, she condensed her spiritual energy and inserted it into the pill furnace. In order to make the pill contain spiritual energy, she had to quickly infuse it with spiritual energy, so she quickly felt that the spiritual energy in her body was insufficient. When her spiritual energy was about to dry up, she took out the pill that Mo Shah had refined and ate it. The pill quickly took effect in her body and she felt her empty spiritual energy fill up again. She didn't know if it was the pill's power or if it was drawn in from the air. Mo Shah was originally worried that Sima Yuyue would not be familiar with the process and cause the spiritual energy to be interrupted. However, seeing that she continued to infuse it at a constant speed, he looked at her with approval. After eating the 2 pills, she continued for about 10 minutes before Mo Shah shouted for her to stop. Sima Yuyue quickly retracted her hand and sat down on the ground in exhaustion. Mo Shah refined a bit more, waiting for the pill to be completely refined before he extinguished the fire and retrieved the pill. A golden-colored pill appeared in front of Sima Yuyue's eyes. That dazzling golden color gave her the color of hope. "You should rest well here and recover the spiritual energy in your body," Mo Shah said. "Yoyue's heart she's, Sima Yuyue have the pill. She, Yoyue's spiritual energy at Yuyue, S. She Yuyue Tiyue, Yuyue, the, Sima Yuyue felt that the spiritual energy in her body was somewhat restless. The spiritual energy outside was still continuously entering her body. This feeling. Could it be that I'm about to advance? Sima Yuyue thought to herself. If that's the case, then let's see if I can advance to level 6. Just as she was about to let loose, Little Spirit appeared in the pill refining room and interrupted her cultivation. What's wrong? Sima Yuyue looked at Little Spirit and asked. I'm telling you not to waste time and energy. Little Spirit said, it's impossible to advance in the Spirit Pearl. No matter how much spiritual energy you absorb, it'll only accumulate in your body. Can't advance? Why? Sima Yuyue didn't understand. Because there's no heavenly Tao here. Little Spirit said. What's heavenly Tao? Sima Yuyue continued to ask. I'm not sure what it is. You'll have to experience it yourself. Little Ling said, if you can't advance here, why don't you go outside? Who knows, you might be able to succeed. Thinking about Sima Lai's situation, she felt that she couldn't stay here any longer. She got up and prepared to look for Mo Sha. When she opened the door, she saw him standing outside with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at the scenery in the distance. Done? Mo Sha turned around and asked. Let's go. Sima Yuyue said. Mo Sha nodded and Sima Yuyue went out first. In Sima Lai's room, Sima Yu ran and Sima Yulu looked at Sima Lai worriedly. Third bro, the doctors and alchemists we invited all said that there's no way. Do you think fifth bro has a way to save grandfather? Sima Yulu said. Sima Yuran thought about Sima Yoyue's back as she left and said, I don't know either. Right now, we can only hope that he can think of a way. I hope that he really has a way. Sima Yulu felt that Sima Yuran's words were weird, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Shaoling knocked on the door twice and pushed it open to enter, saying to the two of them, third young master, fourth young master doesn't seem to be in the house. Fifth bro isn't in the house? Sima Yulu said in disbelief, if he's not in the house, where could he have gone? This subordinate knocked on fifth young master's door, but there was no sound from inside. Shaoling said. Fifth bro has already gone back for almost a day. Grandfather only has 1 day left. Where could he have gone at this time? Sima Yulu said worriedly. I went out to look for something. Sima Yuyue suddenly appeared at the door, giving the three of them a shock. Fifth bro, have you thought of a way to save grandfather? Sima Yuran asked. Sima Yuyue nodded, saying, I have, but I need absolute silence. Can you guys go out for a while? Sima Yulu and Sima Yuren exchanged glances, not knowing what Sima Yuyue wanted to do. Don't worry, I will definitely save grandfather. Sima Yuyue promised, I won't let anything happen to grandfather. Sima Yuran stood up and walked over to Sima Yuyue. He wanted to pat her head, but he put his hand down halfway and said, we'll wait for you outside. Sima Yuyue nodded. Sima Yuran looked at her with a strange gaze, but also with a hint of understanding. She could not help but wonder if he had discovered her identity. Fifth bro, I'll leave grandfather to you. Sima Yulu saw that Sima Yuran had left, so he left as well. Sima Yuyue turned around and closed the door. She looked at the people outside and said, don't worry, grandfather dotes on me so much. It's time for me to repay him. After speaking, she closed the door. Sima Yulu saw the way Sima Yuyue was acting and muttered, fifth bro has really grown up. Sima Yuran looked at the tightly shut door and did not comment on Sima Yuli's words. Had she really grown up? Or was it that she had changed into someone else? In the house, Sima Yuyue came to Sima Lai's bedside. With a thought, Mo Sha appeared beside her. Because there were people outside, Sima Yuyue could not speak and used their contract to communicate with Mo Sha. Mo Sha, let's begin. Chapter 99. Mo Sha nodded his head and looked at the claw mark on Sima Lai's chest. He indicated for her to feed him the mighty emperor pellet and then removed the silver needles from his body. Sima Yuyue did as she was told. She took out the mighty emperor pill and placed it in Sima Lai's mouth. After seeing that he had swallowed it, she then took back the silver needles and retreated to the side. Mo Sha extended his right hand and placed it on top of Sima Lai's chest. A ball of black fog slowly wrapped around his hand. Sima Yuyue stared at him closely, not knowing how he was going to expel the devil chi from Sima Lai's body. Mo Sha, on the other hand, was very casual. It was as if the devil chi in Sima Lai's body had met its natural enemy and began to move wildly. Those 6 chicken claws seemed to have come alive and began to move around chaotically. Sima Yuyue was shocked by the scene in front of her. She thought that it was just some simple devil chi, but she did not expect it to be alive. Seeing the devil claw resisting, Mo Sha coldly snorted and increased his strength. The devil claw unwillingly pulled out of Sima Lai's body. Squeak squeak, when the devil claw left Sima Lai's body, it let out a shrill squeal like that of a mouse. Little 6-toed devil mouse, you still want to fight against me? Mo Sha's devil chi grabbed the devil claw in his hand. Just one look was enough to make it tremble. Mo Sha exerted force and the devil claw turned into a faint black fog, which was swallowed by the black fog in his hand. That's it? Sima Yue asked as she watched Mo Sha retract his devil energy. Mo Sha nodded and entered the soul pearl in a flash. Sima Yue turned around and took Sima Lai's pulse. She could feel that his body had been corroded by the devil chi. If it was just a simple removal of the devil chi, his strength would definitely have dropped by a lot. Fortunately, the Nightmare Emperor Extreme Pill was slowly repairing the parts of his body that had been corroded. Presumably, his strength would not be damaged by the time he woke up. After confirming that Sima Lai was alright, Sima Yoyue's worried heart finally relaxed. She came to the door and heaved a sigh of relief. She opened the door and smiled at Sima Yuran and the others who were anxiously waiting outside. 3rd brother, 4th brother, it's done. Sima Yulu was anxiously pacing in circles when he saw Sima Yu come out. He shot forward and held her shoulders, asking, 5th bro, is grandfather alright? Fortunately, I did not disappoint you. Sima Yu smiled as she stepped aside. Sima Yu ran and Sima Yulu rushed in and only relaxed when they saw that the black aura on Sima Lai's body had already disappeared. 5th bro, it's all thanks to you. Sima Yu said as he patted Sima Yu's shoulder. I just happened to see it in an ancient book. Sima Yu said. No matter what, this time, it's all thanks to you. Sima Yuran said, when will grandfather wake up? Grandpa's body was injured by that demonic creature and is now recovering. He should be able to wake up tomorrow. Sima Yu said. Demonic creature? Sima Yuran frowned. Why would a demonic creature appear here? As far as I know, demonic creatures are all in the devil realm. I don't know how grandfather encountered one and was even injured by it. Sima Yu said, we can only wait for grandfather to wake up before we talk about it. We'll ask grandfather when he wakes up. Sima Yuran nodded. 3rd brother, 4th brother, you've taken care of grandfather for an entire day. Go and rest for a while. Just leave this to me. Okay, take good care of grandfather. After an entire day of anxiety and worry, Sima Yulu was indeed tired. We'll be next door. Remember to inform us when grandfather wakes up. Sima Yuran instructed. Don't worry, I will. Sima Yu sat beside Sima Lai's bed and waved at the two of them. Sima Yulu went out first and Sima Yuran followed behind. When he closed the door, he glanced inside and saw Sima Yu sitting beside the bed and looking at Sima Lai. She carefully helped him put on his clothes and the corner of her mouth lifted slightly. When she was the only one left in the house, she contacted Mo Sha who was in the spirit pearl. Mo Sha, what kind of demonic creature is that 6-toed devil mouse? It's just the lowest ranked demonic creature in the devil realm. Mo Sha said lightly. Since it's a demonic creature, why would it appear in Dongchen? This is indeed a little strange. Mo Sha thought about it and said, demonic creatures usually live in the devil realm. More accurately speaking, they are trapped in the devil realm. Now that it has appeared here, it can only mean that a demonic creature has found an exit and is coming here. What will happen if a large group of demonic creatures come here? Sima Yue thought that even the lowest ranked 6-toed devil mouse caused Sima Lai to be like this. If a large group of demonic creatures came, the consequences would be unimaginable. She thought that all living things in the continent would be wiped out. Don't worry, what you're thinking won't happen. At least, it won't happen for the time being. Mo Shah said with a cold smile as he felt Sima Yoyue's thoughts. Why? Sima Yoyue asked. Didn't I just say it? The demonic creatures are trapped in the devil realm. Since they are trapped, how can they let a large group of demonic creatures out? Even if there is an exit, the demonic creatures won't choose to come to the Yi-Lin continent. Why not? Because of the heavenly Tao. Mo Shah said. The heavenly Tao again. This was the second time Sima Yoyue heard this phrase, but she still didn't know what the heavenly Tao was. I still don't understand. Sima Yoyue shook her head. Let's put it this way. Mo Shah said, because the Yi-Lin continent's level is too low, its strength is too weak. For the sake of the balance of the world, an invisible thing appeared here. That thing restricts those high-level places so that they can't come here and wreak havoc. The heavenly Tao will naturally restrict their strength so that they can only display the highest level of strength here. For example, a god-ranked person can only display the strength of a spirit paragon here, right? Sima Yoyue asked. Right. Mo Shah said. Because they are weak, they are protected by the heavenly Tao. And the barrier between the devil realm and the Yi-Lin continent is the thickest. Those fellows won't give up on the weak spot and choose to come here. Even if they come, they won't be able to get good resources. They won't waste their time. Although it was uncomfortable to be called the weakest spot, after hearing this, Sima Yoyue didn't have to worry about the devil clan coming here to harm her family. Also, the devil clan isn't as strong as you think. Mo Shah said after a moment of silence. Grandfather is a spirit paragon, but he can't defeat a normal devil beast from the devil realm. Isn't that strong? Sima Yoyue didn't believe it. This six-toed devil rat is special. Also, your grandfather must have been ambushed for it to succeed. As for the devil chi, it's just that your light attribute counters each other. If we meet other devil beasts, it's not like your grandfather doesn't have the strength to fight. Grandfather was ambushed? Sima Yoyue looked at Sima Lai. What exactly did he encounter yesterday? Not only did he suffer such serious injuries, he was even ambushed by a devil beast. Since it was impossible for people from the devil realm to come to this world, then who was the one who had the six-toed devil rat? Why did he hurt grandfather? Grandpa, please wake up quickly. Website, please support this website. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.